My mom's best friend had triplets for me. Maple Forest Hotel. In a certain double room, Jiang Chen woke up from a hangover, his head pounding. He glanced around at the unfamiliar surroundings, then fixed his gaze on a faint crimson mark on the pristine white bed sheet. He fell into deep thought. Wait a minute. Didn't he just get dumped by Shen Xinyi yesterday? What the hell is going on? Jiang Chen, I just want a stable future, Shen Xinyi had said. A woman's best years are only a few. I can't afford to waste them. I don't want to live a life where paying off a house and car loan means calculating every penny when dining at a fancy restaurant. Jiang Chen, it's not that I look down on you, but Cohen has treated me too well. The first time we met, he gave me a Hermès bag. Yesterday, on a bustling street, Shen Xinyi had called Jiang Chen out and said those words. Har. If you think I'm poor, just say it. There's no need for all this drama. Fresh off work, Jiang Chen had readily agreed to the breakup. Shen Xinyi was a well-known campus beauty at Shanghai University, the dream girl of countless male students. But she was vain and constantly looked down on Jiang Chen in roundabout ways. They had dated for less than a month. Clearly, their values didn't align. It was just as well to break up after graduation. Jiang Chen didn't feel much regret. That night, he went drinking with some buddies. On his way back, tipsy, he ran into a stunning woman who was also drunk. The two struck up a conversation, seemingly hitting it off. Somehow, they ended up renting a room together. He wasn't sure who initiated it. Now, scratching his head, Jiang Chen recalled the events. What the heck? Had they really just gone all the way like that? He didn't remember much about the woman, just that she had an amazing figure and was stunningly beautiful. Based on his fragmented memories, she seemed to have a wild and untamed side despite her gentle appearance, like a little wildcat. But she had left without a word. Forget it. Youth is fleeting. Consider it a one-off encounter and a beautiful dream. From now on, he resolved to work hard, make money, and set some financial goals. Perhaps a 3-year plan with no dating, just earning a few milestones first. Yes, that was it. With a self-deprecating shake of his head, Jiang Chen decided to start his day. No choice, he had to get to work. Another day as an energized corporate drone awaited. Jiang Chen came from an ordinary family. His mother was a small leader in a government office, and his father was a technician at a factory. They weren't wealthy, but the family was harmonious. As the only son, he was doted on growing up, though he endured his fair share of singles and doubles matches, spankings from both parents. About 3 years ago, he had bound himself to a legendary system. But the system was in a dormant state, requiring daily sign ins to activate. Having read plenty of web novels, Jiang Chen understood what a system meant: a cheat code to life, a ticket to the top. With the mantra system in hand, the world is mine, Jiang Chen had diligently signed in every day, without fail. And yet, after nearly 3 years, the damn system still showed no signs of activation. What a pain! 9 months later, Jiang Chen had just received his paycheck when his old dorm buddies caught wind of it. Naturally, they showed up to freeload. Since they were close friends who all stayed in Shanghai after graduation, they frequently took turns treating each other. Jiang Chen didn't mind and took them to a nice restaurant. Holy crap! That's Su Qingcheng. No wonder she's the goddess of Shanghai University, absolutely stunning. But hasn't she been out of the spotlight for a while? Yeah, for about a year. I heard she either quit or went abroad as a visiting scholar. These photos seem to be from a year ago. What a shame. Who's lucky enough to end up with a goddess like her? Jiang Chen's friends Liu Wei, Jing Qiang, and Wu Hao exclaimed in unison as they gawked at photos of Su Qingcheng on their phones. Jiang Chen had heard of this so-called goddess before. She was said to be a model student and teacher at Shanghai University, a former overseas scholar turned faculty member. But he had never met her. Sure, she was beautiful, but upon closer inspection, she was stunning. Wait a second. Why did she look familiar? Suddenly, Jiang Chen's mind flashed back to the woman from Maple Forest Hotel. Could it be? Was the woman he had spent that fateful night with Su Qingcheng? No way. Just then, his thoughts were interrupted. Ding! Host has hit 1000 consecutive sign ins. Activation conditions triggered. Chapter 2, If my son were this scumbag, I'd beat him to death. Ding! System successfully activated. System activated? Hearing the string of mechanical prompts in his mind, Jiang Chen was overwhelmed with excitement. After 1000 days of check-ins, the damn system had finally awakened. Before he could explore the system, the door to the private room was suddenly flung open with a loud bang. Jiang Chen. You're here. What's wrong with you? Not answering your phone or replying to messages. Do you know how hard it was to find you? Class representative Yuan Yang barged into the room, panting and sweating profusely, startling everyone. What's the matter, class rep? Why are you looking for Jiang Chen so urgently? Asked Liu Wei and the others. Yuan Yang had tracked Jiang Chen down through Liu Wei after being unable to reach him directly. Jiang Chen, realizing what had happened, quickly grabbed his phone and noticed it was on silent mode. Sorry, class rep, my phone was on silent just now. What's so urgent? Something huge. Yuan Yang wiped the sweat from her forehead and caught her breath. Jiang Chen, come with me right now. Miss Su is about to give birth. Jiang Chen was dumbfounded. Wait, what? Miss Su is giving birth. Which Miss Su? Are you talking about Su Qingchang, the goddess senior? But what does her giving birth have to do with me? Yes, it's Miss Su Qingchang. Yuan Yang shot him a look. What do you mean, what does it have to do with you? The baby she is having is yours. Come on, Jiang Chen. Don't just stand there. Let us go. Yuan Yang didn't give him a chance to protest and dragged him out of the room. Inside the private room, Liu Wei, Jing Qiang, and Wu Hao were left staring at each other in stunned silence. Their expressions looked like they were on the verge of breaking apart. Jiang Chen, that guy. Quiet as a mouse, suddenly had a baby on the way? And the baby's mother was none other than Su Qingchang, the goddess of Forces University. Holy crap! Are you kidding me? Su Qingchang. She is the university's goddess. Her looks, her figure, her aura, she is on a whole other level compared to the campus queen. And now she has been taken by Jiang Chen. When did those two get together? Jiangzi, pinch me. Damn it, why do you pinch so hard? But, it hurts, so this isn't a dream. If it's not a dream, then it's impossible. Sure, Jiang Chen is good looking and all, but he doesn't even know Su Qingchang. Probably Jiang Chen's way of avoiding the bill. He and the class rep must ve cooked up this story to mess with us. Exactly. Nonsense. Complete nonsense. Bragging? Who can't? I could say the campus queen gave me imported candy. I could say the girl I like flirted with me last night and invited me in for tea. I could say I married a goddess. I could say I married a goddess and her mother. Meanwhile, on the side of a busy road, a middle-aged woman, phone in hand, rushed toward an old Volkswagen, her tone anxious and her expression panicked. What? What did you say, Xiao Chen? Qingchang's water broke? She is going into labor? That is so sudden. I'm still working overtime at the office. Hold on, I'll be there right away. The middle-aged woman's name was Song Mai. She had just received a call from her niece, Sun Qian, an obstetrician at the maternity hospital, informing her that Su Qingchang's water had broken and she was about to give birth. Not only that, Su Qingchang was pregnant with triplets and would need a C-section. Song Mai immediately wrapped up her work and rushed to their hospital. She and Su Qingchang had become close friends through yoga. Despite the age difference, they hit it off and became confidants. Regarding Su Qingchang's unexpected pregnancy, Song Mai was both heartbroken for her and furious at the man who had left her in such a state. But despite their close friendship, Su Qingchang had been tight-lipped about the details of the pregnancy, never revealing a shred of information about the father. Pregnant with triplets, the journey had been far more grueling than a typical pregnancy. With her parents absent, Su Qingchang had soldiered on alone for 5 or 6 months before finally seeking Song Mai's help. Song Mai could only guess that her dear friend had fallen victim to some heartless jerk. A scumbag, pure and simple, heartless and ungrateful. Honestly, it's a good thing he is not my son. If my son were this much of a scumbag, I'd beat him to death. Chapter 3, What? It's my mom's best friend. At the Sihai City Maternity and Child Health Hospital, Su Qingchang lay on the hospital bed. Her face was pale and haggard, yet her stunning beauty and graceful figure couldn't be hidden, even in this state. She gently placed a hand on her swollen belly and let out a soft sigh. Moments ago, she had no choice but to ask Yuan Yang for help contacting that man. All she knew was his name and appearance, she didn't even have his contact information. But would he come? She wasn't sure. Before she could dwell on it further, the obstetrician, Sun Qian, approached her and lifted the sheet to check her progress. It's about time, Sun Qian remarked. But why hasn't your family arrived yet? You're carrying triplets, and this is your first delivery. In your case, a C-section is necessary. C-sections are surgeries, and surgeries carry risks. With triplets, the risks are even greater. It's best if a family member is here to assume responsibility. I understand, Su Qingcheng replied with a nod, her voice weak. If no one comes, I'll take full responsibility for the risks myself. Sun Qian couldn't help but feel a pang of sympathy. She didn't know Su Qingcheng well, only that she was her aunt's best friend and had likely been wronged by some heartless man. A beauty like her, with a face and figure comparable to a top-tier celebrity, deserved better. And with her impressive physique, even triplets wouldn't go hungry. But for all her beauty, was she too stubborn? Too naive? Perhaps that was why she ended up with a scumbag, and even chose to carry his children, enduring endless hardship. Was it true what they said? The bigger the bust, the smaller the brain. Let us wait a little longer, Sun Qian suggested after checking Su Qingcheng's condition again. If no one comes soon, we'll re-evaluate. She stepped out to call her aunt, Songmai, giving her a list of necessary items to purchase: maternity towels, nursing pads, diapers, wet wipes, and baby bottles. No problem, I'll get them right away. Songmai replied as she pulled into the hospital parking lot. She rushed to the hospital shop to gather everything. As a seasoned mother herself, her own delivery was only 200 months ago, after all she knew exactly what to do. Meanwhile, Jiang Chen was trying to process everything Yuan Yang had told him. I can hardly believe it myself, Yuan Yang said. But that's the situation. Jiang Chen was dumbfounded. So it was true. He really was the pig that had defiled the goddess Su Qingcheng. What kind of monster was he? And now he was about to become a dad. At his age. He still felt like a kid himself. Jiang Chen, I need to catch my flight to the US soon, Yuan Yang said. The hospital is Sihai Maternity and Child Health Hospital. Head there now. Got it. Thanks, class rep. Jiang Chen said, grateful. After a quick farewell, Yuan Yang headed to the airport, and Jiang Chen hailed a taxi to the hospital. His mind was racing, but there was no speeding up. The journey traffic was horrendous. An hour later, he finally arrived. When he reached the 5th floor and the room Yuan Yang had mentioned, he was shocked to find his mom. Mom. What are you doing here? Songmai, carrying bags of maternity supplies, turned around and saw him. Oh, hi. I'm helping a friend, she replied. Here, take these for me. The elevator was full, so I had to take the stairs. I'm exhausted. Handing him the bags, she suddenly frowned. Wait a minute. Why are you here? Don't tell me. Her expression turned suspicious. Did you get some girl pregnant? Wow, you've really grown up, haven't you? With a flick of her finger, she knocked him on the head, followed by a swift kick to his rear. Years of practice made her movements fluid and precise. Mom. Jiang Chen protested. It's not what you think. Oh, really? Songmai shot him a glare. You better not be lying to me. I'm too busy today to deal with you properly, but mark my words. With that, she marched into the hospital room. Jiang Chen followed reluctantly, glancing at the room number again. It matched the one Yuan Yang had given him. No way, it can't be the same person. As soon as he stepped inside and saw Su Qingcheng lying on the bed, he froze. Qingcheng, this is my son, Jiang Chen, Songmai introduced him casually. I ran into him outside, so I asked him to help out. If you need anything, just let him know. Su Qingcheng turned to look at Jiang Chen, her beautiful eyes widening in shock. Jiang Chen, stunned by his mom's introduction, finally put the pieces together. His mom's best friend was Su Qingcheng. What the? This is insane. Chapter 4, Triplets, Ready to be Born. Ding. The system has detected that their host is about to meet their true love and witness the birth of their biological children. Ding. The host faces the following choices. Option 1, treat the children as a burden. You're still young and want to live freely. Reward, starter pack with $1 million in cash. Option 2, cherish the children as treasures. Sell everything if needed to raise them well. Reward, starter pack with $100,000 in cash. Two choices. Option 1, think of the children as a burden and live carefree. Option 2, see the children as treasures and raise them no matter the cost. Was this even a real choice? So what if it's $1 million? Option 2 was the obvious choice. To pick the first option would be no different from being a scumbag. Jiang Chen immediately made his decision. No matter what anyone else thought, he couldn't abandon his own children. Sure, he was still young and confused, but under no circumstances could he turn his back on his kids. Son. This is my best friend, Xinyi. She's from Hermès University and graduated a few years ahead of you. Back then, she was a top student and even went abroad to study at a prestigious university before returning to teach at Hermès University. Technically, she's your senior. Songmai, oblivious to the awkward tension between Jiang Chen and Xinyi, kept talking. But your senior here has had terrible luck in choosing people. She's pregnant now, about to give birth, and that deadbeat father has even shown up. What a complete scumbag. Let me tell you something, never, ever be like that. Songmai took the opportunity to lecture Jiang Chen passionately. Fine, I won't keep nagging you. Just remember what I said. If things get serious, take responsibility for the girl. Marry her if you must. You hear me? You can't be a scumbag under any circumstances. While Songmai was busy teaching him life lessons, Jiang Chen and Xinyi exchanged glances, both mentally replaying the fateful night at the Maple Grove 10 months ago. The realization hit them like a lightning bolt. It was you? Jiang Chen was floored. His mom's best friend was that stunning beauty. Xinyi was equally stunned. Her best friend's son was that guy. Xinyi's pale face flushed red, and she couldn't even bring herself to look Jiang Chen in the eye. Despite their senior-junior relationship from university, this situation was way too humiliating. Mom, I've got something to tell you, Jiang Chen said, choosing his words carefully to avoid more trouble. What is it? Speak. Actually, I'm the scumbag you're talking about. Songmai choked on the water she was drinking and stared at him in disbelief. What did you just say? I'm the one. Xinyi's children are mine, Jiang Chen said, bracing himself. Songmai was stunned. Wait a minute. The scumbag she had been cursing non-stop turned out to be her own son? Was this real life? The boy she raised so carefully, a scumbag. She turned to Xinyi. Meeting Songmai's incredulous gaze, Xinyi awkwardly nodded. My Jie, he's telling the truth. The babies I'm carrying are Jiang Chen's. Songmai's jaw dropped. It was true. Her son was actually the deadbeat she'd been ranting about. Her emotions were in turmoil. On the one hand, she wanted to rage about her son's irresponsible behavior. On the other hand, she was going to be a grandmother, a dream come true. But no. There was no room for excuses. Her son was a jerk. How could he leave her best friend to deal with everything alone, pregnant with triplets, while he only showed up now? In a flash of fury, Songmai grabbed Jiang Chen's ear. You little brat. How dare you still smile? Let us see if you'll keep smiling after this. Mom, take it easy. Jiang Chen yelped. Take it easy. You wish. Songmai twisted harder. This was peak mom mode. Just then, Sun Chen entered the room, looking surprised to see Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen, what are you doing here? Then, putting two and two together, she exclaimed, wait, you're the baby daddy? Jiang Chen, avoiding his mom's wrath, could only nod sheepishly. Oh yeah. Wow. Sun Chen couldn't hide her shock. So, the infamous scumbag is my cousin. And the woman pregnant with his kids. My aunt's best friend. This is insane. Ignoring the family drama, Sun Chen quickly turned professional. The patient's water has already broken. The babies must be delivered via C-section immediately, she announced. Wait, triplets. Jiang Chen's head spun. Had he really gone from a one-time fling to a father of 3 in one night? Ding. Host, hurry up and make your choice already. We've been waiting forever. Jiang Chen. Even the system was getting impatient. I choose option 2. Ding. Choice confirmed. Ding. Congratulations, host, on receiving your reward, a starter pack with $100,000 in cash. Ding. Starter pack bonus, advanced farming technique and an additional $50,000. In total, $150,000 better than expected. Chapter 5, You Little Brat, Don't Run. After Jiang Chen arrived, the surgery was scheduled to begin shortly. Song Mai and Jiang Chen accompanied Su Qingcheng all their way to the operating room. When the door closed, mother and son exchanged a look, a silent standoff of wide eyes staring into narrow ones. Mom. Mom, let me explain. No, I mean, let me defend myself. Sensing danger, Jiang Chen hurriedly softened his tone. However, Song Mai wasn't having it. She grabbed Jiang Chen's arm and dragged him to the hallway. Come on, spill it. I want to hear exactly how you, my little brat, plan to worm your way out of this. Her grip wasn't gentle. Anger gave her strength. Jiang Chen, is this really my mom? I must have been part of some buy one get one free promo. Resigned, Jiang Chen had no choice but to recount everything he knew, leaving out some details that were better left unsaid. After a lengthy and stumbling explanation, Song Mai frowned deeply, her mind racing. Young people these days so reckless. They don't even know each other, yet one accidental meeting leads to this? This brat of mine. Back in my day, we were so much more reserved. Like when I first met his dad. No, wait. That scumbag wasn't any better. We just had one blind date, and after a few drinks, he tried to hold my hand and drag me into the woods. So, you're saying that night, you didn't even know it was Su Qingcheng? Of course not, Mom. Heaven and earth can testify. If I had known she was your best friend, I would never dared. But you did dare. Jiang Chen was speechless. Facing his mother's murderous glare, he realized there was no way to escape the inevitable punishment. His survival instincts kicked in, and he turned and ran. You little brat, don't run. Watch how I deal with you. Song Mai grabbed a broom from a nearby cleaning lady, raising it as a weapon. The cleaning lady was dumbfounded. Though furious, Song Mai wasn't actually planning to hit her son. She wouldn't truly hurt him, but making a show of it was satisfying enough. Sorry about this. Song Mai quickly returned the broom to its owner. No worries, no worries. The cleaning lady, clearly used to such family dramas, chuckled. If it's your son-in-law being a jerk, you should definitely teach him a lesson. Otherwise, he'll think your daughter's side of the family is a pushover. Oh no, it's my son. Your son? The cleaning lady was shocked. If it's your son, why are you hitting him? 2 or 3 hours later, the operating room doors finally opened. A nurse came out, pushing a cart with 3 tiny bundles inside. Family of Su Qingcheng, congratulations. The delivery is complete. Mom, the babies are here. They are born. Jiang Chen called out. But Song Mai was already ahead of him, her voice ringing out as she rushed forward. Yes, I'm here. I'm Su Qingcheng's family. The nurse glanced at the flustered Song Mai and smiled. Congratulations, triplets, 2 girls and 1 boy. Mother and babies are all healthy. Hearing this, the families seated nearby erupted into chatter, their curiosity piqued. Triplets. That's amazing. 2 daughters and a son. Wow, their family is so lucky. And they are even Dragon Phoenix triplets. That's practically unheard of. Jealous. I'm so jealous. Song Mai's eyes sparkled with joy as she laid eyes on the 3 newborns. Amid the envious stares of onlookers, she carefully picked up one of the babies, her anger at Jiang Chen evaporating instantly. The same hands that had nearly struck her son moments ago now cradled the baby with utmost tenderness. Her gaze softened, overflowing with love and disbelief. Am I dreaming? I'm 48, and I'm already a grandmother? And not just a 1, but 3 grandkids all at once. And the one who gave me these precious little ones is my best friend. This is the kind of plot even TV dramas wouldn't dare write. Sigh, my dear son, you've really outdone yourself this time. Chapter 6, Loving Mother and Filial Son. He. Song Mai was extremely excited. The same is true for Jiang Chen. I just glanced at the 3 babies and was a little surprised. Why are their skin wrinkled and red? They are obviously different from the fair and cute babies I remember. Mom, is the child okay? Why, is he like a little monkey? Jiang Chen asked. What do you know? It's like this when you're just born. It will be better in a few days. Besides, when you were just born, you were born prematurely, so you were not even as good as this little monkey. You were more like a little mouse. For the sake of the three little babies, Sangmai softened her attitude and was no longer so angry with Jiang Chen. Mom, I want to hug you too. Jiang Chen saw Sangmai hugging the three babies like they were her precious babies, and he felt a little envious and wanted to hug them too. But the child was so small and fragile that I didn't know how to start. Wait a minute, I'll teach you. Hold the back of your neck with one hand and your butt with the other. That's right. Hold it in your arms at an angle. After all, he was her son. Sangmai rolled her eyes and taught Jiang Chen step by step how to hold a child. Jiang Chen soon got the hang of it. He held a little baby in his arms, looked at the little face in his arms and the dark eyes that were barely half open. He still couldn't believe it in his heart. Is this his child? I am a father just like this. I couldn't let go of them for a moment, and then I hugged all three babies. And gave a gentle kiss on the top of the head. Sangmai saw this and was very dissatisfied. Hey you little bastard, you have bacteria in your mouth, what if you kiss my grandchildren and ruin them? I know. I kissed their hair. And it's true that they are your grandchildren, but they are also my daughter and son. Bite. Host kisses all three of his children. Congratulations and reward, a random draw. Is there a reward for kissing a child? Good. System, draw the lottery. Jiang Chen immediately said with his mind. Bite. The lucky draw was successful. Congratulations to their host for winning, 30,000 yuan and a complete set of parenting skills. 30,000 yuan was transferred to the bank card number. The complete parenting skills flooded into his mind along with a massive torrent of knowledge. After being quickly absorbed, it spread to every part of his body and became Jiang Chen's memory and instinct. It is not an exaggeration to describe Jiang Chen now as a top parenting expert. Cheng. How are you? Not long after, the door of the operating room opened again, and Su Qingcheng was pushed out. Sangmai hurriedly went to greet her with concern. It's okay, I'm fine. Su Qingcheng lay on the bed, her face pale and a thin layer of sweat on her forehead. It's all right. It's all right. Sangmai repeated it twice and then secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Although she was very happy to see her three grandchildren, she was always thinking about her best friend in her heart. Teacher Su, you've worked hard. Jiang Chen also came up and asked with concern. Su Qingcheng didn't know what was going on. She felt inexplicably nervous when she saw Jiang Chen. She wanted to say it wasn't hard, but when she came to her lips she said, forget it, let's talk about it when we get back. Sangmai winked at Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen understood immediately. Afterwards, Jiang Chen pushed Su Qingcheng's bed and Sangmai pushed the stroller with the three babies, and they returned to the ward together. Son. Now in front of Qingcheng, tell me what you are going to do next. Qingcheng was pregnant for 10 months. Due to her physical condition and the fact that they were triplets, Qingcheng was reluctant to abort the baby. However, she also had a falling out with her family because of this. Her parents were not around when she was pregnant. It can be said that she suffered a lot because of you. Be a man with a conscience. I'm telling you, son. Qingcheng is my best friend. If you dare to be so ruthless, I won't forgive you. In the ward, Sangmai questioned Jiang Chen seriously. There were threats and intimidation in the words. Over the past few months, Sangmai had witnessed Su Qingcheng's difficult situation with her own eyes. She was living alone in a rented house, with no one to turn to for help. She had to cook and go for checkups alone with a big belly. She once accidentally tripped in the middle of the night and was unable to get up for a long time. She felt the same way and tried her best to help her good sister. But at the same time, I was extremely angry, thinking, who is this heartless, unfaithful and scumbag? I just never expected. The unfaithful man and the scumbag turned out to be the good son that I raised. But she can't do that either. No matter what, she can't be a scumbag. This is a matter of principle. This time, she is determined to seek justice for her best friend. Of course I am responsible. I really didn't know before, I didn't do it on purpose. Facing his mother's accusation, Jiang Chen scratched his head and expressed his thoughts. Now I know. The child is already born. What else can I do? Then just raise him, after all, he is your own child. Anyway, I don't have any problem, but. Jiang Chen glanced at Su Qingcheng and didn't continue. But what? Tell me. Song Mai was a little anxious, thinking to herself, this brat, why does he stop talking halfway? It really makes me anxious. However, at this moment, Su Qingcheng suddenly shouted and interrupted her question. Sister Mai, please help me push the stroller closer. I want to see the baby. Oh, okay. Song Mai responded, stood up and pushed the stroller closer to the head of Su Qingcheng's bed. As the effect of the anesthetic wore off, Su Qingcheng gradually felt the pain from her wounds, but she still sat up and looked at the three babies, her eyes full of doting. Jiang Chen was watching from the side, stunned. The best is the best. Although she looks a little haggard and pale, her beauty is still breathtaking. Get out here, you little brat. When Jiang Chen was watching intently, Song Mai suddenly came up to him, said something in a low voice, and then pulled his arm out. Jiang Chen. I mean, my mom is not in menopause, why is she so irritable? You little bastard. Why, from what you said, my best friend is so pretty and intelligent, and she's also a professor at a university. Is she not worthy of you or what? I asked you to be responsible for my best friend, and I think that's wronged you. Song Mai pulled Jiang Chen outside and questioned him. Mom, please be gentle. Jiang Chen's forehead was covered with sweat. I didn't say she was not worthy of me, and I didn't say I was irresponsible for her. Then what are you doing? I can't say it, I just don't know what Su Qingcheng means. This is a matter between two people, I can't just be too enthusiastic. That's right. Song Mai nodded and then let go of her hand. It's not a good idea to convince your son, but Qingcheng doesn't agree. But she really thinks that it is a good idea to have her best friend as her daughter-in-law. After a 2-second pause, he suddenly took out a bank card and said to Jiang Chen, here is 30,000 yuan. Go pay the bill and complete the hospitalization procedures for Qingcheng. 30,000. Mom, didn't you say you had no money? Don't worry, I'm not being greedy. This is all the subsidies and bonuses I got this year, and this is all the money I have left. Oh. But Mom, no need, I have money. Jiang Chen declined. Not to mention the newbie gift package or anything like that, he just got 30,000 yuan for kissing his child. As for money, he really has no shortage of it now. How could I not know you? Where did you get the money after you just graduated? Just take it if I tell you to. Bite. Detect current status, host trigger options happy smiley. Option 1, Mom has a hard time, so I definitely don't want her money. Option 2, the mother is kind and the son is filial, and he accepted the money from his mother. Jiang Chen. Is this still a choice? Since the dog system has joined in the fun, what else do you want? Of course, choose option 2. What are you doing? Hurry up and take it. Okay, thanks, Mom. Jiang Chen smiled, took the bank card, and loosened his arms. The mother is kind and the son is filial, okay. Chapter 7, a woman 3 years older than a man. Faced with his mother's kindness, Jiang Chen was disrespectful and had to accept the money from his mother. A loving mother and a filial son are not just talk. But I think about how hard my mom works to earn money. The worst that can happen is that I can just pay it back double the amount. Bite. Host has made a choice. Congratulations to the host for receiving the reward, a top-of-the-line BMW X7. The car has all the necessary license plates and is parked on the first floor of the underground parking lot of the Maternal and Child Health Hospital. Please feel free to use it. A BMW X7 as a reward. The system was much more generous this time. You should know that the bare car price of a top-of-the-line version of the BMW X7 is close to 2 million. Buzz. At this time, the cell phone rang. It was the beautiful squad leader Yuan Yang. Hey, Jiang Chen. I didn't lie to you, did I? Yuan Yang came up and said with a smile on the phone, congratulations. Thank you, monitor. But, aren't you in Shanghai? How do you know about Teacher Su? Jiang Chen asked. Hey, didn't I tell you? Teacher Su doesn't know your contact information. I'm the class monitor. I've participated in activities with Teacher Su before, and we saved each other's phone numbers. Teacher Su must have had no choice but to contact you through me. Oh, okay. Jiang Chen, to be honest, you are really awesome. You actually let Teacher Su give birth to your children. By the way, how many children did Teacher Su give birth to for you? 3 little babies, 2 girls and 1 boy. It's triplets. Holy shit. Yuan Yang was shocked and couldn't help cursing. After a pause, she continued, Jiang Chen, you are so lucky to have Teacher Su do this. You are so awesome. Not bad, hee, Jiang Chen said modestly. Cheng, I'm not bragging. Although my son is sometimes unreliable and mischievous, he is actually a good person. He has a handsome appearance, is talented, and is strong in all aspects. Don't think that I always dislike my son. In fact, I have been very proud of my son since he was a child and I have been very concerned about him. But to be honest, he is handsome and he deserves credit for it. If you don't have any other ideas, I can really try it with my son. In the ward, because there were no outsiders, Sangmai began to persuade her best friend earnestly. What else could she do? Her eldest son had caused a lot of trouble, and as a mother, she had to clean up for her son. But Sister Mai, how can I try? Your son and I are just an accident. We are not familiar with each other at all. Besides, I'm much older than him, so it doesn't seem right no matter how you look at it. Facing Sangmai's persuasion, Su Qingqing's first reaction was to disagree, and she expressed her concerns. Sister Mai, actually I was willing to give birth to the child, and I am very grateful that your son can come. I will take care of the 3 children from now on. Your son is still young, he should have his own life. What are you talking about? Sangmai followed up, my son is still young? He has already graduated from college and is 22 years old. I tell you, if he dares to ignore you and your son in the future, I, as a mother, will be the first to disagree. It's his child after all. He's so cruel and ruthless. I must break his legs. As for you being much older than him, how much? He is 22 this year, and you are 28, so you are only 6 years older. As the saying goes, a girl 3 years older than a man will bring him gold bricks. A girl 30 years older than a man will bring him gold bricks. A girl 30 years older than a man will bring him the kingdom. A girl 300 years older than a man will bring him elixirs. And a girl 3,000 years older than a man will become an immortal. You're 6 years older, but it's only 2 gold bricks, not much. But Sister Mai. Su Qingcheng was still hesitating. No buts. Sangmai said directly, Qingcheng, I'm an experienced person, so you'll have no problem listening to me. Being a single mother isn't easy. Besides, you don't want your child to be born without a father, right? This made Su Qingcheng speechless, and she pursed her lips and said nothing for a while. Qingcheng, I also understand your concerns. You and my son don't know each other at all, and we didn't have any feelings for each other before, but what does it matter? Take me and Jiang Chen's father for example, we met through a blind date, and now we are living a good life, aren't we? This feeling needs to be cultivated. Cultivate it a few times, and you will feel it someday. Take your time, don't rush. Seeing this, Sangmai struck while the iron was hot and specifically cited the example of what happened between her and Jiang Chen's father in the past. Well, actually, she met Jiang Chen's father through a blind date, and she didn't have any feelings for him at first. Jiang Chen's father was a big pig's hoof. He wanted to hold her hand not long after they met. She was quite resistant at first, but later she followed him to a grove. Then they inexplicably fell in love, got married soon and gave birth to Jiang Chen. So, the matter of feelings. What to cultivate? Sometimes when monkey shit arrives, it really hits the spot. But Sister Mai. Su Qingcheng still wanted to struggle. All the concerns she mentioned before were resolved by Sangmai. Now she had no better excuse, so she had to say with embarrassment, if I get along with your son in the future, what if something happens? How should we address each other? We are good friends and have always called each other sisters, but he is your son. If we really talk about it, he should call me auntie, right? When Sangmai saw this, she laughed. Well, I finally convinced him. It's worth it for me as a mother. I just gave her advice with all my heart and worried about my son. Isn't it hard to say what this title is? It's all a small matter. At most, we can just talk about our own affairs. Qingcheng, you still call me Sister Mai, the brat calls me mom, and he calls you wife. Isn't that enough? Su Qingcheng tried to persuade Song Mai for a while, and then she was speechless. At this time, Jiang Chen's cousin Sun Qian came to the ward. She had just finished her busy work in the delivery room and took some time to come and take a look. "Auntie, how is the pregnant woman? Is she in good spirits?" Sun Qian asked Song Mai. She was not familiar with Su Qingcheng, and no matter how old she was, she didn't know what to call her. From Song Mai's perspective, she should call her aunt, but from Jiang Chen's perspective, she should call her sister-in-law. That's outrageous. So he had to ask questions through Song Mai frequently. "I'm fine, and in high spirits," Song Mai said happily. She had 3 grandchildren and just gained a daughter-in-law. She would be happy. "That's fine." Song Mai smiled and nodded, came to Su Qingcheng, checked her, and explained some precautions. After a cesarean section, you must fast and cannot eat anything for the first 6 hours. After 6 hours, the gas is passed and you can drink some water and eat some liquid food. "Okay, thank you, doctor," Su Qingcheng said. "It's okay. We'll be a family from now on." "What are you thanking me for?" Sun Qian said meaningfully. When Su Qingcheng heard this, a blush crossed her pretty face. After talking to Su Qingcheng for a few words, Sun Qian came to the stroller. Looking at the 3 little babies, I couldn't help but laugh. "Wow, so cute. Do you know who I am?" "I'm your aunt." "Don't mention it, they all look just like your father's." After teasing for a while, he suddenly remembered and turned to Su Qingcheng and said, "By the way, have you started breastfeeding?" "Start breastfeeding?" Su Qingcheng was embarrassed. "Not yet," Song Mai replied. She was an experienced person and had just been talking to Su Qingcheng so much that she had forgotten about this matter. "No." "Then you have to start breastfeeding." Sun Qian said, "Colostrum contains many nutrients that are beneficial to newborns, especially lactoferrin and immunoglobulin. The earlier you start breastfeeding, the better it will be for your baby. Because the babies are triplets, their weight is lighter than normal, and they need nutrition at this time." As she spoke, Sun Qian picked up a baby and came to Su Qingcheng. "What are you doing?" "I don't have any milk." Su Qingcheng looked embarrassed and did not realize her role as a mother for a moment. "It's okay. There's nothing at the beginning. Let the child suck it and it will be there." Sun Qian smiled as if she was used to it. "Okay, all right." Su Qingcheng hesitated for a moment, and seeing that there was no one else in the room, especially Jiang Chen was not in the ward, she unbuttoned her shirt. When Sun Qian saw it, she was a little shocked. Song Mai's eyes also widened. After being good friends for many years, this is the first time I see her true face. "That's fine. Now my 3 grandchildren will have a real treat." Chapter 8: The Young Couple's Little Troubles. Su Qingcheng held a baby in her arms. He fed for a long time with a flushed face, and tried both sides, but still no milk came out. Then the 3 babies started crying loudly, probably because they were hungry. Seeing this, Su Qingcheng couldn't help but feel a little ashamed. "I am so magnificent, it's not necessary. It's normal to have no milk at first. Most babies don't have milk until 24 hours later." Sun Qian consoled, "It's okay, just let the baby continue to suck. He will have milk if he sucks more." "Yes, when the little brat was born, I started breastfeeding on the 3rd day." Song Mai introduced her experience and turned to look at the 2 crying babies. "Are you hungry, little babies? Grandma will feed you milk powder now, okay?" So I took out the bottle and milk powder and prepared to make the milk powder. "Mom, let me make the milk powder." At this time Jiang Chen came back and saw Song Mai was about to make milk powder. Seeing this, Su Qingcheng hurriedly tried to cover her chest. But at this moment, the baby in his arms was smacking his lips vigorously, so it was impossible to cover it completely. So Jiang Chen glanced over and happened to see it, and was immediately distracted. "The sun outside is too strong. No, it's too hot. My eyes are dizzy from the sun." "Su Qingcheng, can you make milk powder?" Song Mai asked in surprise, not noticing Jiang Chen's expression. "Who doesn't know how to do this? It's just making some milk powder, Mom, let me do it." Jiang Chen took the bottle and milk powder and started to make the milk powder. The parenting skills rewarded by the system are not exaggerated. Jiang Chen's movements are very skillful and his hands are very fast. He first disinfects each bottle, then fills each bottle with warm water, and then adds milk powder. Soon, the task of preparing milk powder for the 3 babies was completed. Songmai was stunned watching from the side. Not bad, I didn't expect you to be so good at it. Of course I need to say that. Your son is very talented, you know that. Cut. You little brat, you're not humble at all. Songmai scolded with a smile, and then she and Jiang Chen fed the babies with milk powder. Soon, the babies were full. The little baby who was originally sucking in Su Qingqing's arms. At first he was reluctant to let go of his mouth. It took a long time to pull the milk, which made Su Qingqing frown and hum. But as soon as the nipple of the bottle was put into her mouth, she stopped humming immediately and started drinking. A very satisfying feeling. Wow, I didn't expect Xiao Chen, not only can he make milk powder, he even knows how to burp a baby. He really has the potential to be a dad. Sun Qian saw it and couldn't help but praise him. Not bad, not bad. Songmai was filled with relief. Her son was doing well and it was not in vain that she raised him up. Su Qingqing also saw it. She was surprised and her impression of Jiang Chen changed a lot. This guy was not so unreliable. But change? Bar. Su Qingqing followed and remembered the way Jiang Chen looked at her just now. This guy is also a big pig's hoof. It's okay. I knew a little bit about it before. Jiang Chen said. You only knew a little bit. Sun Chen didn't believe it. Yeah, of course a little bit. Jiang Chen looked calm. He had mastered all the parenting skills, so he knew a lot about how to take care of children. Bite. The host makes milk powder for the child. Congratulations to the host for winning the reward. Chapter 9, My Biological Mother, She is really my biological mother. Ding, congratulations to the host for winning the reward, God-level massage skills, 1 free chance to draw a lottery. God-level massage skills. A free lottery entry. Hearing the system prompt, Jiang Chen was too lazy to complain. He thought to himself that he was not even familiar with Goddess Su, so what was the point of him volunteering to help her just now? How will Goddess Su see me in the future? I thought so in my heart. Jiang Chen still resolutely accepted the reward. After all, the God-level massage skills seemed to be pretty good. In less than a second, Jiang Chen had mastered God-level massage skills and was proficient in all kinds of massage techniques, which often had unexpected effects. System, draw a lottery. Ding, the lucky draw is successful. Ding, congratulations to the host for winning 30,000 yuan. Just 30,000 yuan. Jiang Chen thought he could get something, but this is what he got. Damn system. Su Qingqing on the other side was still shy. She turned around only after the fever on her face subsided. But when I saw Jiang Chen again, I still felt a little panicked for some reason. How should I put it? After all, I was seen naked. No, more than that, the shame I felt was definitely much stronger than the night when we both died together. Sun Qian covered her mouth and smiled secretly, then quickly returned to normal. After talking to Songmai for a few words and giving Su Qingqing some instructions, he left. After Su Qingqing, she also felt tired to a certain extent and gradually fell asleep. Son, I'm going to cook for Qingqing. You stay here and take good care of Qingqing and the baby. Seeing that it was time for dinner, Songmai said to Jiang Chen. She had already inquired about the place near the hospital that made confinement meals. If you buy food outside, whether it is nutritious or not is another matter, but the hygiene problem is definitely serious. I understand, Mom. Jiang Chen replied. Songmai was about to go out when she suddenly glanced at her son and suddenly pulled him outside again. Jiang Chen was helpless. Mom, can't you just talk it out nicely? I told you nicely, but you didn't learn your lesson. Songmai glanced at the sleeping Su Qingqing in the room, and then explained to Jiang Chen, I talked to Qingqing just now, and in the end, she agreed to try to get along with you. For a while. It means to date someone. Oh. What? Are you dissatisfied or what? Songmai looked at Jiang Chen's nonchalant look and became angry. You little bastard. You've taken advantage of me. You've looked at me from head to toe. I've even given birth to 3 children for you. What else do you want to do? Can you have a little conscience? Don't worry, I have a conscience and will take responsibility. Jiang Chen patted his chest and agreed. I'm glad you know it. Songmai gave her son an unpleasant look. You little brat, I've already said it in advance. Qing Cheng is my best friend, we are like sisters. She has given me 3 grandchildren. If you dare to be indecisive, treat Qing Cheng badly, or even betray her, I will not forgive you. Do you understand? I understand, Mom. Please stop nagging me. I promise I will treat her well. So you think I'm being long-winded? What else? Yu Sangmai was so angry that she laughed. She reached out to twist Jiang Chen's ear, but Jiang Chen turned sideways and stood on tiptoe to avoid it. If I can't reach your ears, can't I kick your ass? Sangmai then kicked her son on the butt. Unexpectedly, he kicked nothing as well. Sangmai laughed and scolded. Okay, brat, I'll settle the score with you later. After glaring at Jiang Chen, Sangmai left in a hurry. It was already time for dinner and many people were cooking. If she went later, she might have to wait in line. Jiang Chen returned to the ward. Seeing that Su Qingcheng was still sleeping soundly, he couldn't help but look at her twice more. Even now, he still feels like he's dreaming. He just graduated and broke up, and then the goddess Su, the beautiful teacher who is the focus of everyone's attention at Sihai University, gave birth to 3 children for him. It feels so unreal. Suddenly, at this moment, there was a faint strange smell in the ward. Jiang Chen immediately came back to his senses and looked at the 3 babies. Needless to say, at least one of them must have pooped. Then check the diapers. Sure enough, among the 3 babies, 2 had poop and 1 had pee. Because of the physical discomfort, the 3 little guys began to twist their bodies and whimper. Don't worry, Daddy will change your diapers right away. Jiang Chen comforted the 3 little ones softly and changed their diapers skillfully. Why is the baby's forehead throbbing? Su Qingcheng, who was originally asleep, saw Jiang Chen changing the baby's diaper at this time, and suddenly found that the baby's forehead was twitching, and not just one, but all 3. She couldn't help but exclaim in surprise, and then couldn't help feeling a little worried. Are there 3 little babies? Is this a developmental problem? In fact, she had already woken up when Jiang Chen entered the ward. The physical pain, the unfamiliar environment, and the natural alertness of being a mother meant that even though she was very tired, she did not sleep for long. But after waking up, I felt really embarrassed. Jiang Chen and I were in the ward, and we didn't know what to say. So just now, I just continued to sleep, until I accidentally found 3 little babies jumping on my head. It's okay, this is normal. This place on the baby is called the fontanelle. After birth, because the skull is not completely closed, the fontanelle will jump and move. The anterior fontanelle closes around 12 to 18 months. The posterior fontanelle closes relatively quickly, and it will be completely closed in about 3 months. Jiang Chen kept explaining to Su Qingcheng. Oh, so that's it. Su Qingcheng nodded and immediately breathed a sigh of relief. You seem to be pretty good at taking care of children. Oh, it's okay. I've read some related parenting knowledge on the internet before, so I know a little bit. The 2 chatted casually. An hour later, Su Qingcheng passed gas, and Sangmai just came back with the confinement meals she prepared, including crucian carp soup, brown sugar water, and millet porridge. Qingcheng, are you hungry? Come, let's eat. Sangmai's tone was concerned, and she excitedly brought the food box to Qingcheng. I don't know if it suits your appetite or what you like to eat, but this is the confinement meal, which is relatively light and focuses on nutritional balance. That's it, thank you Sister Mai. Su Qingcheng said softly. Since the gas had been discharged, she could now eat something. Why are you thanking me? This is what I deserve. Sangmai placed a small dining table on the bed, opened the lunch boxes she brought, and pushed them in front of Su Qingcheng. Eat Qingcheng, eat while it's hot. Because it was time for dinner, Jiang Chen's stomach was growling with hunger. Seeing this scene, I couldn't help but feel something was wrong. Mom, did you forget to bring me food? I haven't eaten yet. You haven't eaten yet. I was so focused on Qingcheng that I forgot about you. Sangmai slapped her head. I prepared all this food for Qingcheng, why don't you go down and eat? Yes, she is really my biological mother. He even forgot that his own son had tea eaten. Jiang Chen shook his head and had to go downstairs to eat. The maternal and child health hospital had a restaurant, located on the basement floor of the inpatient building. He saw the sign when he arrived. Unexpectedly, when I arrived at the restaurant, I hadn't had time to get my meal. Suddenly, a surprised voice came from behind. Jiang Chen. It's really you. Chapter 10. Awkward, unexpected encounter with first love. Jiang Chen felt their voice was familiar and turned around to see that it was indeed an acquaintance. It turned out to be Wang Bingbing, his junior high school classmate. Speaking of which, Wang Bingbing was the class beauty back then and also his first love. The two hadn't seen each other for 7 or 8 years since graduating from junior high school. Wang Bingbing still looks the same as I remembered, tall and slender, with delicate features and 2 small canine teeth showing when she smiles. However, she has grown a little taller over the years. Now she is wearing a nurse's uniform and obviously works in this maternal and child health care hospital. Jiang Chen, you looked like me from a distance, but when I got closer, I realized it was really you. Long time no see. Wang Bingbing said to Jiang Chen with a sweet smile on her face just like she did back then. Yeah, long time no see. Jiang Chen responded, looking a little embarrassed. Because I broke up with my first love at that time. He cried his heart out and tried to save the relationship with a broken heart. At one point, he wrote a suicide note, threatened to jump off a building, and even climbed over a wall in the middle of the night, hoping to elope with his first love. This scared his first love so much that she ran away from him. No matter how hard I tried, it was ultimately of no avail. For a long time afterwards, he kept talking about this incident, always thinking about it unforgettable, and imagined the scene of their meeting again countless times. But now, Jiang Chen finally saw his first love, who was like his eternal goddess, again. Apart from a little embarrassment, there was really no ripple in my heart. How are you, Jiang Chen? Have you been doing well these years? I'm fine. How about you? I'm fine too. By the way, why are you here? This is the maternal and child health hospital. My child was born. The child is born. It's not your child, is it? Wang Bingbing couldn't help but be surprised, but after taking a look at Jiang Chen, she quickly denied her thoughts, but it's impossible. According to the time, you just graduated from college. It must be your relative's child who gave birth to their child. At this time, a colleague called her, so she quickly answered, turned around and waved to Jiang Chen, okay, I won't talk to you anymore, we'll talk again when we have a chance, and left in a hurry. Okay, no problem. Jiang Chen continued to eat in the restaurant. I couldn't help but think back to those days, trying to find some of the feelings of my youth, but to no avail. All I felt was embarrassment. I still think that I was too immature and stupid at that time. Why? What's the big deal? Just seek death. Son, I have to go back. I am at least a small manager in the company, and I have a lot of work that I haven't had time to deal with. It's already evening, I'll just go back and take care of it. I'll come back tomorrow morning. I'm telling you, you better be careful tonight. At around 8 or 9 in the evening, Sangmai was old after all and could not bear it any longer. As he still had a lot of work to do at the company, he planned to go back and take a rest. Before leaving, as expected, he used threats and inducements on Jiang Chen again. Jiang Chen was no longer surprised by this. Even though his mother usually beats and scolds him and is very fierce, he actually knows that his mother has a sharp tongue but a soft heart. She likes to nag a little, but is actually closer to him than his father. Don't worry, Mom. If I can't take good care of you, you can break my legs. It's good that you know. Sangmai smiled and glared at her son. Then he said to Su Qingcheng softly, Qingcheng, I will go back tonight and come back the next morning. If the brat dares to bully you tonight, just tell me. Also, if you need anything, just order the brat around. The brat is young and is not afraid of getting dirty or tired. Jiang Chen's forehead was covered with sweat. I'm not afraid of getting dirty or tired. Who told you that? Seeing this, Su Qingcheng couldn't help but cover her mouth and chuckle, I know, Sister Mai. Okay, I'm leaving now. Sangmai told Su Qingcheng with satisfaction, then looked at her son, take good care of my grandchildren, otherwise. Jiang Chen felt a headache when he heard this. I know, Mom. Please stop talking. They are your grandchildren, but they are also my sons and daughters. If I treat them badly, I won't let myself off their hook, okay? Without any explanation, Sangmai was pushed out. Chapter 11, the milk is successfully started, and the 3 babies are no longer hungry. You and your mother are quite interesting. Su Qingcheng said to Jiang Chen after Jiang Chen returned to the ward. This was the first time she took the initiative to talk to Jiang Chen. It's okay, we are used to it, Jiang Chen said. Suddenly, there were only 2 adults left in the ward. Jiang Chen felt a little awkward because in terms of seniority, he was actually lower than her and had to call her aunt. So it's always like this. It's funny, but the relationship is really good. Su Qingcheng said without envy, it can be seen that you are your mother's biological child. You also think I'm your biological child? Jiang Chen couldn't help but ask in surprise. Suddenly, he became very interested in this question. Of course. If you were not her biological child, do you think your mother would treat you like this? Think about it, if she is polite to you, very caring and concerned about your feelings, but also cautious and distant, then you won't have time to panic. 2. Jiang Chen patted his head helplessly. After a few casual words, the 2 of them were no longer so unfamiliar with each other. Because Su Qingcheng is really talented, and with the help of Jiang Chen. After a while, the milk was successfully produced. Bite. The host helped his wife to successfully start breastfeeding. Congratulations to their host for getting a set of finely decorated apartments in Bishuiju. Bite. Congratulations to their host for receiving the extra reward, physical fitness plus 10 points. After completing the milking task, I was rewarded with a fully furnished apartment in Bishuiju. Get extra bonus, physical fitness plus 10 points. Not bad, not bad. Jiang Chen received a reward of plus 10 points of physical fitness in the bathroom. Then an inexplicable huge force spread to their body and every part of the body. Then there was a sharp pain, and the bones and muscles of their whole body seemed to be transformed by that huge force. Less than a minute. The pain ended and I broke out in sweat. Jiang Chen simply took a shower in the bathroom. When I looked in the mirror again, I saw myself in the mirror, like a marble sculpture, with big muscles, 8-pack abs, mermaid line, dog waist, and my whole face seemed even more handsome. All right. Awesome, awesome. With only plus 10 points of physical fitness, the body can be transformed into this state. If it's plus 100 points. Well, I dare not think about it. Qingcheng, are you hungry? I've brought you breakfast. This is the breakfast I made myself, come and try it. At around 6 o'clock the next day, Song Mai came excitedly. Su Qingcheng had already woken up at this time. She looked after the baby for a while. Jiang Chen, who had been up all night, took the opportunity to take a nap. Although his physical fitness was plus 10 points, he still needed sleep. The breakfast Song Mai brought to Su Qingcheng was quite sumptuous. There are preserved egg and lean meat porridge, vegetable tortillas, toast, egg custard, fresh milk, etc. Su Qingcheng knew that the child's food was important, so she started eating without hesitation. Thank you, Miss Mai. Hey, you're so polite. Song Mai handed Su Qingcheng some food while asking about last night. How was it, Qingcheng? Was everything okay last night? Not bad. Su Qingcheng said after taking a sip of the century egg and lean meat porridge. What about that brat? How was he to you? Did he bully you? Song Mai asked again. He? No. Su Qingcheng thought of last night, her face flushed slightly, then she glanced at Jiang Chen, her heart suddenly skipped a beat. I thought to myself, this brat. Why is this guy so handsome? But over there. After waking up, Jiang Chen was busy changing diapers for the 3 little ones. After hearing what his mother said, he was a little unhappy. Mom, look at what you said, why would I bully others for no reason? Okay, as long as you know it. Song Mai smiled and said, come here, son, this is your breakfast, eat it while it's hot. She is very satisfied with Jiang Chen's performance. Her biggest wish at the moment is that the couple live in harmony and the 3 babies are healthy. After visiting Su Qingcheng and her grandchildren, Song Mai hurried back to work. Because the unit is having an event recently, it is difficult for her, a small leader, to ask for leave at this time when she should set an example. Son, take good care of Qingcheng and the child. I know, Mom. Please stop nagging me. After Song Mai left, the ward became much quieter. Not long after, the nurse on duty for the morning rounds came in. When she saw Jiang Chen, she couldn't help but exclaimed, Jiang Chen. Why are you here? Chapter 12, Enemies on a Narrow Road. The nurse was tall and pretty. It was none other than Wang Bingbing, whom Jiang Chen met by chance last night, and also his first love. Wang Bingbing is a delivery room nurse at Sihai Maternal and Child Health Hospital. It was their turn on that day when the shift changed. In fact, she unexpectedly met Jiang Chen while having dinner last night. She hadn't seen him for 7 or 8 years, which made her particularly excited. But she was busy at the time and didn't even have time to leave her contact information. Unexpectedly, when I was on duty the next day, I happened to meet Jiang Chen again. What a coincidence. I didn't expect to see you again in the hospital. Wang Bingbing walked forward quickly and saw Jiang Chen's sunny, handsome, angular face, her eyes full of smiles. To this day, she still clearly remembers how good Jiang Chen was to her. When the two were young and naive and dating, Jiang Chen, who was still a teenager, bought her breakfast, books, snacks, and did her homework for her. He was as attentive as an old nanny. We broke up later because we were too young and didn't understand anything. She was actually just following the fashion and joking around. What's funny is that Jiang Chen actually took it seriously back then. After breaking up with him, she was so infatuated that she tried to commit suicide, wrote a suicide note, and threatened to jump off a building. Wang Bingbing knew everything about this matter. As for the feeling, I felt touched, wanted to laugh, and was a little scared. Because at that time, Jiang Chen not only tried to commit suicide, but also suddenly climbed through the 3rd-floor window of her house in the middle of the night to look for her. He asked her in a childish and immature way whether her family disagreed with her breaking up with him. If her family disagreed, it was okay, he could elope with her, even if they had to wander to the ends of the earth, as long as the two of them were together, he could support her by picking up trash. She asked him if there would be KFC to eat if she eloped with him. Jiang Chen thought about it and said no, how could he eat KFC while wandering around picking up trash? But if she really wanted to eat, he could save up money for a week and treat her to McDonald's. So she made a decisive decision. It would be fine if they could wander to the ends of the earth together, but if there is no KFC to eat, then forget it. The man who asks her to pick up trash together and doesn't even give her KFC to eat is definitely not her Prince Charming. But now 7 or 8 years have passed. The childish Jiang Chen back then is now handsome and tall, and seems to be even more handsome than before. When Wang Bingbing saw it, her heart started beating inexplicably. After going around in circles, it seems that I still like Jiang Chen's type. So I saw Jiang Chen at this time. She was both excited and surprised, thinking that the boy she was back then had grown up. It is said that first love and the first time are lifelong things that can never be forgotten. Jiang Chen was so infatuated with me and it was so unforgettable back then, he would definitely not forget me. But if he couldn't forget his old love and pursued me again, well, of course I will consider it and will definitely give him a chance. And at this time, Jiang Chen finished changing the diapers for the 3 babies. Just sat down and had a glass of water. The nurse Wang Bingbing couldn't help but exclaimed when she saw Jiang Chen. Then she walked towards Jiang Chen with great enthusiasm and surprise, and even wanted to grab Jiang Chen's arm as she did in the past. Jiang Chen saw this. I felt a headache secretly. It's true that enemies often meet in a narrow road. So he slightly turned sideways, quietly avoiding the hand that Wang Bingbing was reaching out to him. Chapter 13. I'm sorry. Are you on duty today? Jiang Chen raised his eyes and asked. Yes, I had a meeting yesterday and it's my turn to be on duty today. Seeing Jiang Chen avoiding her hand, Wang Bingbing was a little surprised. Wow, little guy, you're being arrogant again. But she didn't take it seriously. After all, she had hurt him so deeply in the past, so it was normal for him to have a little temper now. But as long as she made a move, he might be very happy and would try to please her again. Just like the boy he was back then. Wang Bingbing took a quick glance and saw 3 babies beside Jiang Chen. Wow, triplets. Jiang Chen, whose relatives' children are these? They are so cute. The tone was one of surprise, without any falsehood. Because she never even considered the possibility that it was Jiang Chen's child. Jiang Chen scratched his head and said, These 3 are my children. What? These 3 are your children? Wang Bingbing was stunned and asked in astonishment, Jiang Chen, are you married? No. How come you have a child when you're not married? Wang Bingbing asked in astonishment. She glanced at Jiang Chen and then smiled. Oh, I see. You are joking, right? This must be your relative's child. I didn't expect that after all these years, you still like to joke so much. No, you misunderstood. This is really my child, my biological child. Jiang Chen simply made things clear. What? Wang Bingbing saw that Jiang Chen was not joking and her face suddenly changed. Jiang Chen, this is impossible, right? According to the time, didn't you just graduate from college? How come you have a child right after graduation? A face full of shock and disbelief. Nothing is impossible. There are some college students who don't have children, not to mention I've already graduated. Jiang Chen said calmly, giving Wang Bingbing an answer that couldn't be more certain. When Wang Bingbing heard this, she immediately felt sad in her heart. Oh my god, it's true. But back then, you were clearly trying to commit suicide for me. You threatened to jump off a building, wrote a suicide note, and even climbed up the third-floor window of my house in the middle of the night to ask me if I wanted to wander to the ends of the earth with you. He also said he would use the money from collecting trash for a week to buy me a meal at McDonald's. Have you forgotten all these? Why didn't you wait for me? How could you give birth to 3 children without telling me? Why? Wang Bingbing's mind raced, and she felt frustrated. But at least she was not a child anymore, so she quickly calmed down and thought that based on Jiang Chen's words and tone just now, she could know several facts. Jiang Chen was not married, and his girlfriend was pregnant unexpectedly. Since it was an accident, it was uncertain what the future would be like. In other words, she still has a chance. What's more, she was the class beauty back then and the dream goddess of many boys. If she takes the initiative. I don't believe that Jiang Chen is not attracted to me. Thinking of this, Wang Bingbing straightened her chest, smiled what she always thought was the most beautiful smile, and walked towards her rival in love lying on the bed. Unexpectedly, the next second, the smile froze on her face. Because that rival in love is so beautiful. She is so beautiful that she can make fishes sink to the bottom of their chests, geese fall to the ground, the moon hide in shame, and flowers blush. Just one look at her is enough to make even a woman feel moved. Compared to her, I am just a country girl. However, what shocked her even more was the other person's broad mind. Big. It's really too big. Wang Bingbing looked down at herself and suddenly felt extremely ashamed. Compared with others, she was obviously not worthy of a. Chapter 14 I Let You Love Me and Wander Around the World. Wang Bingbing was originally full of confidence. Whatever you think, you are also Jiang Chen's first love, the dream goddess of many boys. Besides, Jiang Chen was infatuated with you, and was very attentive and a dog. But now compared with Jiang Chen's partner. It's such a shock. She had just given birth to a child, and was in a rather weak state. But even so, her beauty, facial features, and temperament were simply not something a country girl like me could compare to. Especially that figure. His broad mind made her feel ashamed of herself and humbled into the dust. In terms of appearance, temperament and figure, she is overwhelming in all aspects. So, the excitement of meeting Jiang Chen, the goddess mentality of being superior in front of Jiang Chen, and the expectation that Jiang Chen would become his bootlicker again when he met her, all disappeared in an instant. Not only was it gone, but she also felt like she had eaten 3 pounds of lemons and felt extremely sour. I thought we could rekindle our old love, but... Okay. I am just being sentimental and overthinking. Fortunately, there was nothing else to do. Wang Bingbing did her routine and asked about Su Qingchang and the baby. When she found that everything was normal, she left as if escaping. There was no way. If she stayed for another second, she felt like she would turn into a sour grape. So sour that it might explode on the spot. After Wang Bingbing left, Jiang Chen breathed a sigh of relief. I thought to myself that fortunately nothing happened. If my mother saw this, she would definitely criticize me. But when he turned around and saw Su Qingchang breastfeeding, he was a little puzzled. Didn't you just feed the baby not long ago? Why are you feeding again? Not long. About half an hour, okay. I'm just worried that the child will be hungry. Su Qingchang replied lightly. Actually, she knew that the baby had only been eating for a short time, but she just wanted to feed him, especially in front of Wang Bingbing. Turn out to be. As soon as Wang Bingbing came in, she heard the conversation between the two parties and felt that they seemed to know each other and might be old friends. Suddenly, I couldn't sit still for some reason. While the two were talking, she picked up a baby, untied her chest, and started feeding him. You can see that even though the little guy had just eaten not long ago, he still ate the food with relish. And the effect on the other side. Just take a look at Wang Bingbing's expression and you'll know that the effect couldn't be better. Are you worried that your child will be hungry? Jiang Chen didn't notice Su Qingqing's thoughts, and continued to remind her, you should be careful. It's not good to let the little ones drink too much milk at once. It may cause indigestion and poor digestion. But speaking of this, my eyes were unconsciously drawn to it. To be honest, it is really amazing. Will it cause indigestion and indigestion? Su Qingqing heard this and thought about it. She stopped feeding the baby and put it in the crib beside her. If you are sleepy, take a nap. I will take care of the child. Su Qingqing said again. It's okay, I'm not sleepy. Jiang Chen didn't sleep much last night, but because his body had gained 10 points of physical fitness, he took a nap for a while and didn't feel sleepy anymore. In the afternoon, Song Mai hurried to the hospital. After finishing her work at the company in the morning, she was really worried about the hospital, so she asked for leave from her boss. The boss knew Song Mai's usual work attitude and approved her leave. She carried a big bag filled with various fruits and nutritional supplements for postpartum women. Unexpectedly, just as she was about to enter the ward, she heard someone shouting from behind, "Auntie." Song Mai looked back and her expression changed slightly. It turned out to be Wang Bingbing dressed as a nurse. Of course she knew this Wang Bingbing. Back then, I was in a relationship with Jiang Chen and I came to her house several times. Although there wasn't any trouble during her relationship with Jiang Chen and they broke up in the end, there was still quite a stir afterwards. Jiang Chen disagreed with the breakup and cried bitterly, vowing to love Wang Bingbing forever and to travel the world with her. Song Mai was so angry when she saw it. I thought to myself, you little brat, what do you know about love? What do you know about a lifetime? You haven't even got your hair fully grown yet, and you want to travel the world. Come, I'll let you love, I'll let you travel the world. Without saying anything, she caught Jiang Chen and started a women's singles match. Jiang Chen was not convinced after being beaten and said he would go on a hunger strike. Then his father came out and drew out the 7 wolves on the spot. Then Jiang Chen gave in and went to eat obediently as he was so hungry. Of course, he was not in a good mood, but no matter what, he finally calmed down and was successfully admitted to university. Although it is still a little unreliable now, I have won my best friend without realizing it. But at least she gave her 3 grandchildren. As a mother, Song Mai felt quite relieved when seeing this. So at this moment, when she suddenly saw Wang Bingbing, Song Mai's heart skipped a beat. Could it be that this brat was up to something weird again? Chapter 15. Dad draws out 7 wolves. Song Mai thought so in her heart, but as an elder, Song Mai still looked gentle and polite. Bingbing? It's you. Why, you work at the maternal and child health hospital now. Yes, I'm a nurse here now. Wang Bingbing saw Song Mai's gentle attitude, and a glimmer of hope suddenly emerged in her heart, which had been hit hard. Then she asked enthusiastically, Auntie, where have you been? Hey, what am I doing? My daughter-in-law just gave birth, so I bought her some fruits and supplements. Song Mai said, and she glanced at Wang Bingbing while holding the bag in her hand. Daughter-in-law? Buy her fruits and supplements. When Wang Bingbing heard this, she felt as if she had fallen into an icy cave. The little bit of hope that had just emerged was extinguished immediately. Previously, Jiang Chen's girlfriend crushed him in all aspects. I have a bad figure and bad looks in front of her, and I feel inferior like a country girl. I originally thought I could get some leverage with her, but who would have thought that her aunt already treated me as her daughter-in-law? Wang Bingbing took a look at the bag that Song Mai opened and saw that it was full of various valuable fruits and nutritional supplements. My heart felt extremely bitter. You bought so much. It seems that you care about your daughter-in-law very much. It's okay. After all, she is my daughter-in-law, and she gave birth to 3 grandchildren for me. It's never too much to be nice to her. Song Mai said this with a smile on her face. Wang Bingbing saw this. I feel so cold in my heart. There's nothing I can say. I have completely given up. After that, he entered the ward, checked some conditions as routine, explained some precautions, and left in a hurry. Even when Song Mai invited her to sit down and have a glass of water, she immediately and politely refused. After Wang Bingbing left, Song Mai immediately looked towards Jiang Chen with murderous eyes. You and Wang Bingbing didn't do anything behind my back, did you? Jiang Chen immediately broke out in a sweat. Mom, I already have a child, why would I do anything behind your back? It's better not to. Song Mai said, I'm warning you, little brat, you're an adult now, not the child you were before. If you dare to be indecisive about Qing Cheng in the future and do something behind her back, be careful of me. Be careful or you'll break my legs and skin me alive, right? Jiang Chen looked helpless as he finished the rest of the sentence for his mother. Song Mai chuckled. You little brat, just know it. After scolding Jiang Chen with a smile, Song Mai then said to Su Qing Cheng, if Jiang Chen treats you badly, don't be afraid. Just tell me and I will take care of him. I know, Sister Mai. Su Qing smiled. She had just been on the bed and witnessed the entire conversation between Song Mai and her daughter. She really thought that the mother and daughter were very interesting. Come on, Qing. These are fruits and nutritional supplements. You've worked hard giving birth to a child, so I bought them for you. Song Mai put the bag on the bedside and handed them to Su Qing one by one. Thank you, Sister Mai. What are you thanking me for? We are all family, so we shouldn't have different opinions. Jiang Chen took a look at the bag and found his favorite lychees in it, so he tried to ask, Mom, can I eat lychees? There's nothing I can do. I'm traumatized by my mom's scolding. Eat it, those lychees are for you. Thank you, Mom. You really are my mom. You little brat, if I'm not your biological mother, then who is? Mom, we actually have another important thing to do. A woman who has just given birth cannot eat too many lychees. After giving some to Su Qing, Jiang Chen simply put the pile of lychees in front of himself and ate them to his heart's content while saying to Song Mai, what's the important thing? What else could be so important? It's just Dad. Dad shouldn't know about this yet, right? Your dad? Let's wait. Why? Jiang Chen asked. Your father just had an appendectomy and is currently recuperating. If he knew that you harmed my best friend and made her pregnant before marriage and gave birth to triplets for you, how do you think he would react? What would happen? Song Mai glanced at Jiang Chen, her tone gentle and persuasive. This. Jiang Chen immediately held his forehead. My dad has a bad temper and acts impulsively. Given his temper, if he knew that I had taken my mom's best friend, who knows what would happen? So what if I just had appendectomy surgery? So what if I'm still recovering? Nothing can stop him from drawing out the 7 wolves. Forget it. For the sake of my father's health, and especially for my own life, I should put this matter aside for now. Unexpectedly, just as I was thinking this, the phone suddenly rang. It was my dad calling. Chapter 16. You are professionals in cheating your son. Mom, it's Dad calling. Jiang Chen suddenly panicked and took the phone to show Song Mai. Song Mai took a look and cracked some melon seeds while looking calm. It's for you. What are you showing me? Take it. Jiang Chen. I had no choice but to answer the phone. Hello, Dad. Are you calling me? Why, I can't call you. Jiang Chen could feel his father's voice from a distance. Even without the speakerphone on, his mother could hear it clearly. Have you done anything bad again recently, kid? What bad things have I done? I work hard every day and try to make money. How can I have the time to do bad things? Jiang Chen tried his best to defend himself. I don't think you have the guts to do that. Jiang Dupeng on the other end of the phone continued, you're surprised. Your aunt called me out of the blue this morning and told me that you harmed your mother's best friend and made her give birth to 3 children for you. I felt it was nonsense as soon as I heard it and I didn't believe it at all. You said this was so absurd. My son is such an excellent and honest person. He was a 3 good student in school and an outstanding graduate. It is obvious that he would not do such a ridiculous and unreasonable thing. Besides, triplets, the probability is so low, and my son just graduated, it's impossible to even think about it. So I hung up on her before she finished talking. This is not the way to lie and slander my son. I just had surgery and am recuperating. It's not worth it to get upset with me. Jiang Chen listened to his father complaining on the phone for a long time and suddenly felt guilty. Judging from the tone of my dad's voice on the phone, he knew very well that my mom was right and that I shouldn't tell my dad for the time being. Well, Dad. You did the right thing. You should have hung up the phone with Aunt. Your son is so outstanding, he really wouldn't do something as absurd and unreasonable as Aunt said. Jiang Chen said to Jiang Dopeng on the phone. Song Mai rolled her eyes as she listened. Fortunately, the call was answered outside the door, as Su Qingcheng probably couldn't hear it clearly inside. That's right, don't I know my son? Jiang Dopeng said proudly after hearing Jiang Chen's reply, but son, the social atmosphere is not good now. There are all kinds of monsters and demons. You must not follow suit. Something like what your aunt said actually brought disaster to your mother's best friend. This is ridiculous, don't you know? You have to call your mom's best friend auntie. There's a big age and generation difference between them. Remember this clearly, kid. Of course, if you're itching to try, you can try it. Just like his mother, his father's call ended with a threat. Jiang Chen felt guilty and broke out in a sweat. They were indeed an old couple, having taught him everything together. Okay, Dad, got it. Okay then, hang up. After hanging up the phone, Jiang Chen looked at Song Mai. Mom, what should we do next? What else can we do? Just leave it alone. Song Mai thought for a moment and said, it's a done deal. What can your father do to you? When the time comes, put the 3 babies in front of him. Let's see whether he will hug his grandchildren first or beat you first. After his mother reminded him, Jiang Chen suddenly understood. Although I did something ridiculous and inappropriate, the key point is that I gave my dad 3 grandchildren. When the time comes, just like my mom said, I will put the little ones in front of my dad. I believe that my dad will not hug his grandchildren first. Okay, that's settled. Jiang Chen breathed a sigh of relief. It turned out that his mother was good at dealing with his father. But Song Mai looked at Jiang Chen and suddenly smiled sinisterly. But son, your dad will hold his grandchildren first, which is definitely no problem, but I predict that you will not be able to escape the beating your dad deserves. Jiang Chen. Well, you are worthy of being my dad's couple, you are professionals in cheating your son. Song Mai stayed in the ward for the whole afternoon. Seeing Jiang Chen serving Su Qingcheng and taking care of the 3 babies, whether it was changing the mat, taking the urine, changing diapers, or feeding, he did it very well and with skillful techniques, seemingly better than her mother could do. Although she didn't say it, she was very satisfied in her heart. Seeing Jiang Chen and Su Qingcheng again, they gradually became familiar with each other as they got to know each other, and looked like a young couple. I am also happy from the bottom of my heart. One is her son, and the other is her best friend. Now they both have children. If they could finally get together and achieve a happy ending, that would of course be what she wants most. In the evening, Song Mai cooked dinner for the 2 of them, brought it over, and then went back. After all, there is someone else at home. If she doesn't cook for that person, he would rather starve than cook for himself. Of course, if he cooks occasionally, the food tastes like pig food and only he can eat it. Your mother's cooking skills are pretty good. Su Qingcheng couldn't help but praise the dishes on the table. Although they were all confinement meals and home-cooked dishes, such as stewed pork knuckles with soybeans, stir-fried pork, home-cooked tofu, stewed tilapia, and seaweed egg soup, they all tasted really good and were not much different from the state banquets she had eaten before. Is it delicious? If it is, eat more. Jiang Chen was used to his mother's cooking and thought it was just like that. When he heard Su Qingcheng say it was delicious, he immediately picked up a piece of fish for her. After picking up the food, I realized that I was using my own chopsticks. I immediately explained, I'm sorry, I used chopsticks to pick it up for you. It's okay, I don't mind, Su Qingcheng said. In order to prove that she didn't mind, she immediately ate the piece of fish. Of course, after eating it, her face suddenly felt hot for no reason. After the 2 adults finished their meal, it was time for the 3 little ones to eat. Wow! 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 Together, they cried loudly to express their strong desire to eat. Good boy, baby. Don't worry, the food will be here soon. Jiang Chen prepared some warm water and after cleaning, he fed the rations into the little ones' mouths. He fed 2 at a time, and after they were all fed, it was the last baby's turn. As I have experienced many times. Su Qingcheng was no longer surprised by such a process. To be precise, I'm numb. And over there was Jiang Chen. I'm used to it, and of course I'm very, very calm inside. After feeding the 3 babies one by one, Jiang Chen burped them one by one and coaxed them to sleep. Then, because it was hot and he was afraid of them getting prickly heat, he gently washed their bodies. Before I had children, I thought other people's children were fair and tender and very cute. It is taken for granted that raising a child should be easy. Just dress them, feed them, entertain them, and play with them. How wonderful it is. After I had my own child, I realized that my previous thinking was just to treat my child as a pet. In fact, raising a child is not easy at all and it is very stressful. I am afraid that they will be cold, and I am also afraid that they will be hot. I am afraid that they will eat too little, and I am also afraid that they will eat too much. Fortunately, Jiang Chen already possessed a complete set of parenting skills, and his physical fitness had increased by 10 points, so the parenting workload was a piece of cake for him. Chapter 17. Can I be discharged from the hospital tomorrow? After that, the two of them had nothing to do and stayed up all night until dawn. Sangmai came early again, carrying a bunch of things, including breakfast, fruits, etc. Jiang Chen got up as it was okay for him to sleep less due to his physical condition. Jiang Chen ate some fruit. He was worried about something else. How to tell or explain to my dad that I encountered, won over my mom's best friend, and accidentally made her give birth to triplets for me. And to be honest, it's all my cousin's fault. If she hadn't told her aunt about this, how would her aunt know about it? And how would her aunt pass this on to her father's ears, directly destroying her long-term plan? No, I must ask her for an explanation. This morning, Sun Qian finally came. After arriving at the ward, Su Qingcheng was given a relatively comprehensive examination. Aunt Qingcheng's recovery is relatively ideal. The wound condition, as well as the discharge and urination, are all within normal ranges. If there are no other problems tomorrow, you can be discharged from the hospital. Can I be discharged from the hospital tomorrow? Sangmai was surprised. After all, she was old, had a lot of work to do at work, and was still worried about Jiang Chen. She had been running between the company, the hospital, and home these days, and she was exhausted. Yes, Auntie, Qingcheng has recovered well in all aspects and can be discharged from the hospital tomorrow. Sun Qian said. That's great. Sangmai was overjoyed. Su Qingcheng also felt relieved. Although Jiang Chen and Sangmai took good care of him in the hospital is still a hospital after all, not his home, and it was still inconvenient in many ways. After Sun Qian finished the examination, she was about to leave. Jiang Chen immediately stopped her and said, "Cousin, did you tell Auntie about me?" "No, I haven't." Sun Qian saw Jiang Chen's expression as if he was going to accuse her, and she subconsciously denied it immediately. "No." Jiang Chen didn't believe it at all. "You didn't tell your aunt, so how could she know?" "Not only did she know, but she even called my dad to tell him that day." Sun Qian. "My mother really couldn't hold it in anymore and told my uncle-in-law?" "But it's normal. No one can hold back when encountering such a thing. After all, it's too outrageous. My cousin actually got pregnant with his mother's best friend, and they even gave birth to triplets. Fortunately, I had strong self-control and only told my mother. As Jiang Chen's cousin, she certainly knew the temper of Jiang Chen's father, her uncle-in-law. He had a hot temper and was impulsive. Once he got angry, even 10 donkeys couldn't stop him. Thinking of this, Sun Qian couldn't help but look at Jiang Chen with pity. However, pity is pity, it is impossible to admit it. Seeing that Jiang Chen was determined not to give up until he gave an explanation, she played the sympathy card. "Xiao Chen, tell me, has your cousin been good to you since you were little? Does she love you?" "Not bad," Jiang Chen said. To be honest, when he was a child, this cousin was really nice to him. Whenever he went to her house, she would give him all the delicious and fun things to eat and play with. Of course, she would be very fierce when she was angry. She would snatch his lollipop and hit him on the head until he cried. "When you were little, did you like playing with your cousin?" "Good. Then you want to know, did your cousin tell your father about your affairs?" "You say. I'm not. I didn't. Don't talk nonsense." After denying it 3 times in a row, Sun Qian took advantage of Jiang Chen's daze and ran away. There was nothing she could do. Although this was her fault, she really couldn't bear it. "Jiang Chen. Are you the cousin who has loved me and treated me well since I was a child?" He originally planned to blame his cousin and force her to help him think of a way to deal with the situation. The result is even less reliable than myself. Forget it, forget it. When water comes, earth will cover it. When soldiers come, soldiers will fight back. After all, I am my father's biological son. If I don't consider the monk's face, I will consider the Buddha's face. If I don't consider the Buddha's face, I will consider the face of my grandchildren. I don't believe that Jiang Dupeng can destroy me. Bite. Detect their host's current status and trigger a random task. Call your dad within 3 days and confess everything. Jiang Chen. Chapter 18. Hey, Big Pig's Hoof. Call dad and confess everything? What the hell? Isn't he the dog system pushing itself into the fire pit? System, can I not accept the mission? Bite. The mission is mandatory. If their host does not accept it, the system will self-destruct. I wipe. The dog system threatens to self-destruct at any time. Is this okay? Or if you want to self-destruct, then do it. Forget it, why bother talking to this dog system? Jiang Chen had no choice but to accept the task. Fortunately, he did not have to confess to his father immediately, but within 3 days, which gave him some buffer time. Cheng, listen to my advice and live together. The child has just been born, and you are in confinement. Although my son is clumsy, he is honest and well behaved. He is still the father of the children. I think he cares about the children and you very much. Besides, you two can still develop feelings by living together. No matter what, the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. Because Su Qingchang is going to be discharged from the hospital tomorrow, Song Mai naturally suggested to her best friend what to do after she is discharged, that she should live with her son. But Sister Mai, Su Qingchang said hesitantly. In fact, she also thought that what Song Mai said made sense. However, once she was discharged from the hospital, she had to live with a man, or to put it simply, to cohabitate. She felt a little uncomfortable psychologically for a while, especially since this man was the older son of her best friend. Here we go again, isn't it? Seeing Su Qingchang's hesitant expression, Song Mai couldn't help but smile. My best friend is good in everything. Her looks, figure and temperament are all perfect, but she is a little reserved and too shy. Qingchang, you have given birth to your children. We should live together after we are discharged from the hospital, isn't that right? If you are worried, I will check on you often after you are discharged. If my son treats you badly, I will punish him on the spot. How can I feel embarrassed about that? Su Qingchang's face turned red. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. After all, I'm the children's grandmother. It's perfectly normal for me to visit my grandchildren and take care of my son at the same time. Well, all right then. Seeing that Su Qingchang finally gave in and nodded, Song Mai was immediately delighted. Su Qingchang also secretly breathed a sigh of relief. She knew the pain and suffering of being pregnant alone, and she didn't want to go through the experience of a single mother raising a child. With the guarantee from her best friend, she felt more at ease. What's more, that person. He's okay, he's handsome and has a nice personality. After spending a few days together, I found that he was taking good care of myself and my child. But suddenly she remembered that she felt a deep sense of shyness in her heart again, and looked at Song Mai with some resentment. You really think your son is honest and well behaved, but in fact, he is not honest at all. I have been very careful in taking care of myself and my children these days. But he is both to himself and... I looked myself up and down, and realized that I am either a pervert or a pig. Song Mai was just happy. Who noticed Su Qingchang's little thoughts? She had just convinced her best friend and then came to Jiang Chen excitedly. Son, after Qingchang is discharged from the hospital, you can live with her so that it will be more convenient for you to take care of them. Live together. Yes. Is this appropriate? To be honest, Jiang Chen was not mentally prepared. His mother said they were going to live together, but in reality, that meant he would be living together with this goddess from now on. Why is it inappropriate? Seeing that her son did not agree immediately, Song Mai was a little unhappy. What do you mean by this? Why, I asked you to live with my best friend, and you are not happy about it. No, I mean, what about Qingchang? Does she agree or not? I'm sure they agreed, that's why I told you. Oh, all right then. Song Mai was unhappy when she heard this. Hey, you little brat. Why do you sound like that? I'm begging you for this, right? As he said this, he was about to use the ear-twisting technique. No, Mom. You misunderstood. I am happy to do it, very happy. Jiang Chen was sweating profusely and quickly replied, Hey, You always fight for the slightest thing, no wonder Dad said you are a violent maniac and a tigress. The second half of the sentence was whispered. But because Sangmai was right next to them, she heard it clearly. What? Am I a violent person? Am I a tigress? Sangmai was immediately furious. You are so rebellious. He immediately rushed towards Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen saw that the situation was not good, so he ran outside immediately. Mom, I'm going to go out for a while to buy some fruit. Sangmai failed to catch up with her son, so she laughed angrily, shook her head and went back to the ward. Su Qingcheng, who was lying on the hospital bed, saw this and covered her mouth with her hands while laughing. Sangmai immediately realized that she had gone too far, and smiled embarrassedly. Just now, was I, as a mother, too strict with my son? Su Qingcheng smiled. Yes, a little bit. Sangmai was embarrassed. Okay. Jiang Chen bought some fruits downstairs and brought them upstairs. Back in the ward, the mother didn't bother him. After all, she was his biological mother, and it wasn't right for her to beat her own son in front of her best friends and daughter-in-law. But Sangmai didn't let him go either. He was assigned a task, moving. Jiang Chen thought about it and realized that, indeed, since he was going to live with Goddess Su after being discharged from the hospital, it was natural for them to move into their previous home together. So I agreed readily. In addition to moving, there is one more thing to do, which is to quit your job. After graduation, Jiang Chen found a job with a good atmosphere and decent pay, but it was still not as good as his mother's job, which was on the government payroll and she had been doing it for decades. So my mother went back to the office a few days ago to deal with some urgent work matters. Jiang Chen has been taking leave until now. This time when I went to the company, I didn't even ask for leave and just resigned directly. After all, you are a cheat now. As long as you live with your wife and children, all kinds of rewards will come in an endless stream. Even becoming the richest man in the future is not impossible. There is really no need to go back to work at the original company. Jiang Chen came to the underground parking lot of the maternal and child health hospital. After finding the BMW X7 rewarded by the system, he took out the key from his trouser pocket, opened the car, and sat in the driver's seat. The car purchase contract was placed on the passenger seat, and the license plate, procedures, receipts, etc. were all complete. It was indeed reasonable and legal, and the source was formal. It is worthy of being a luxury car with a top configuration of nearly 2 million. It's much better than the old Volkswagen my mom has been driving for 10 years. Jiang Chen adjusted the seat, started the car, and stepped on the accelerator. Boom. The car let out a loud roar and immediately rushed out. Jiang Chen drove out of the maternal and child health hospital. I suddenly felt thirsty on the way, and thinking that it was still early, I bought a bottle of water at a roadside convenience store. Unexpectedly, as soon as I came out of the convenience store, I saw a familiar figure in front of me. It was Jiang Chen's school beauty ex-girlfriend, Shen Xinyi. Shen Xinyi turned around and saw Jiang Chen. Chapter 19 Sister Yang, I also gave birth. Jiang Chen, do you find it interesting to follow me? We've broken up, okay? I have a new boyfriend now and he treats me very well. You're only making me hate you more. When Shen Xinyi found out it was Jiang Chen, she immediately said a lot of things in displeasure. At this moment, she was no longer the pure school beauty she had been before. She was now wearing heavy makeup, gorgeous clothes, a miniskirt, carrying a small bag in one hand, and holding the arm of a fat man with the other. Jiang Chen. Which of your eyes saw me following you? When Shen Xinyi saw Jiang Chen, still dressed in his ordinary outfit, she couldn't help but snort coldly, her expression full of disdain. Before, I was blind because I thought you were handsome. But in this society, being handsome can earn you a living? Money is the most important thing. See. This is my new boyfriend. He drives a top-of-the-line BMW X5 worth $1 million. On the first day we were together, he bought him a set of LV clothes and this small bag. These alone cost about 50,000 or 60,000 yuan each. As she spoke, she tightly held the arm of the man next to her, with a proud look on her face. Jiang Chen held his forehead, feeling a little helpless. I thought to myself, at least we've talked about it, so let us just part ways amicably. You despise the poor and love the rich, you love vanity, you think I have no money and no future, but that's okay, it's just human nature. To be honest, I also like rich people, but after we broke up, you slandered me and looked down on me, and took the initiative to give me your face. Then don't blame me for being rude. Anyway, it is impossible to be a virgin. I will never be a virgin in this life. TSK, I bought you with 50,000 or 60,000 yuan. You are really cheap. But it's still okay. A little more expensive than the chicken in the club. Shen Xinyi almost exploded when she heard this. Jiang Chen, what did you say? You said I was cheap and called me a whore in a club. She also found it a little hard to believe that Jiang Chen, who had always been very kind and tolerant to her, would actually say such words to her. Someone knows it, so I don't need to repeat it. Jiang Chen continued, glancing at the fat man. Also, this is your new boyfriend. He's pretty good. If you hadn't told me, I would have thought he was your dad. He said these words lightly and walked away. This time, not only Shen Xinyi was furious, but the fat man couldn't hold it anymore either. Your ex-boyfriend. He's such a piece of shit. He's poor but he thinks he's right. If he wasn't worried that he couldn't beat him, he really wanted to stop Jiang Chen and beat him up. Shen Xinyi's expression became extremely ugly, and she cursed at Jiang Chen as he left. Jiang Chen, you poor bastard. You deserve to be single for the rest of your life. I was blind when I fell in love with you. After scolding Jiang Chen for a while, Shen Xinyi turned to the fat man and said, Let's go, husband. Didn't you say you would buy me a cell phone today? There's no need for us to get angry over a poor bastard. Let's go, your husband will buy you a mobile phone. The fat man looked at Shen Xinyi with a smile and said, But you promised me, you must fulfill it tonight. Don't worry, I always keep my word. Shen Xinyi smiled, took the fat man's arm, and walked happily towards a BMW X5 parked on the side of the road. But when he looked forward, his expression suddenly changed. The expression on his face was extremely incredible. Because not far away, Jiang Chen got into a brand new BMW X7, sat in the driver's seat, and then whizzed past on the road in front. What? Jiang Chen actually drives a BMW X7. But how is that possible? Jiang Chen was obviously poor. When I was with him, I had to save money for a week to eat a high-end steak. The gifts he bought for me on my birthday never cost more than 1,000. The fat man obviously saw it as well, and looked equally surprised. Isn't he this guy poor? Why is he driving a BMW X7? This is fucking. The top-end version of X7 costs less than 2 million, which is one level higher than my X5 and much more expensive. Jiang Chen drove the BMW X7 and sped along the road. When he met Shen Xinyi just now, he felt like he had swallowed a fly. Fortunately, we broke up decisively. Otherwise you will feel disgusted for the rest of your life. Then I drove to the company. This company is his first job after graduation. The atmosphere is good. Although he has only worked there for a few days and is still in the probation period, Jiang Chen has a harmonious relationship with his colleagues. Seeing Jiang Chen coming to the company again, colleagues greeted him one after another. Hey, Jiang Chen is here. You took several days off in a row, and I thought you were quitting. Jiang Chen is here. Let me see you. Have you become more handsome after not seeing you for a few days? What do you mean by becoming more handsome? I've always been handsome, okay? It seems like I've become even more handsome. It's true after seeing this. You are worthy of being the most handsome guy in the company. Jiang Chen, here are cakes and fungus sandwiches. Do you want to eat them? If you do, can you let me be your girlfriend for a day? I wanted to. Jiang Chen was sweating when he heard his colleagues' jokes along the way, but he didn't take it seriously because that was the atmosphere of the company, with harmonious relationships and peace with each other. Otherwise, he would not have chosen this company to join. But to be honest, his appearance has indeed improved compared to before. After all, it's 10 points of physique. It's not in vain. My appearance, physical strength, muscles, etc. have all improved significantly. Soon, Jiang Chen arrived at the office where his department was located. The department leader, Sister Yang, was drinking water while talking about work with two girls. When she saw Jiang Chen coming, she smiled and greeted him. Jiang Chen. I thought you weren't coming. The two girls recognized it was Jiang Chen. Then he came closer and felt a warm feeling. Since he and Jiang Chen joined the company at the same time, they had a particularly good relationship. Brother Chen is back, welcome. Welcome back, Brother Chen. It's been a long time since I last saw him. Jiang Chen, you came back at the right time. Our department is full of old, weak, sick and disabled people, and there is a lack of young people. The peak season is coming soon, but we don't even have a veteran who can fight hard battles. Sister Yang said with a smile. Jiang Chen looked back and saw that there were indeed empty seats. I couldn't help but feel confused. Why were all the people gone? Where are Sister Zhang and the others? Ms. Zhang got pregnant unexpectedly. She is an elderly mother and went home to protect the fetus. Where's Brother Li? Brother Li's wife gave birth, and he went to take care of his wife and children. Well, isn't there Sister Xu? She gave birth to her second child, so why didn't she come? I was just about to talk about her. She might have a fertility physique. She said she didn't want to have children, but she ended up getting pregnant for the third time recently, and this time it's twins. Sister Yang was speechless when she heard this. I don't know what's going on in our department recently. We broke into the children's nest. There were only a few of us, and we all had children all at once. Fortunately, I recruited you 3 new soldiers in advance, otherwise I wouldn't know what to do during the upcoming peak season. Jiang Chen held his forehead with his hand after listening for a while. Well, they all really got together. But after a pause, he still said with gritted teeth, well, Sister Yang, I actually gave birth too. When Sister Yang heard this, she immediately spat out a mouthful of water. Chapter 20 looks honest, but actually is a bit naughty and mean. What? You gave birth too? Sister Yang was startled. The 2 girls, Shen Jiao and Xu Na, were also shocked. Jiang Chen realized that he had made a mistake and quickly explained, well, it wasn't me who gave birth, it was my wife who gave birth. I'm a father now. But after hearing this, Sister Yang and the 2 sisters were scared again. Your wife gave birth? Becoming a father? This is too fast. Did I hear you right, Jiang Chen? You have a wife, and she gave birth to your child. Are you a father? Sister Yang took a breath and asked with difficulty, looking as if she had seen a ghost. Well, another one of the department has a baby. This year, I really broke into the children's nest. Yes, that's right. Jiang Chen nodded. Upon hearing this, the 2 girls, Shen Jiao and Xu Na, were surprised and then extremely disappointed. Their disappointment was not because the department suddenly lost a capable person, but because Jiang Chen actually had a wife, and his wife gave birth to a child for him, so he became a father. Is there something he is worried about? He is so young, but he already has a wife and children. He is so young to have a baby. Why? So you want to take a leave too? Sister Yang had seen the world after all, and she quickly calmed down. No, I'm the one who came to resign. Resign? Sister Yang was surprised again. It's not like the company won't approve your leave. Why don't you just take care of your wife and then come back to work? Besides, your family owns a mine. How can you support your wife and children if you don't work? My family doesn't have a mine, but I'm short of money now, Jiang Chen said honestly. More importantly, my wife gave birth to triplets, and I want to spend time with them. What? Triplets? Ms. Yang. Shen Jiao and Xu Na. I was so shocked that I was speechless. Sister Yang smiled bitterly. Triplets. She had lost another capable person. However, seeing that Jiang Chen had made up his mind, he approved his resignation and his salary would be paid as usual next month. After a simple handover of work, Jiang Chen said hello and left. Goodbye Sister Yang. Goodbye Sister Jiao and Sister Na. Goodbye Jiang Chen. Goodbye, Brother Chen. Come visit the company again when you have time. Okay. After Jiang Chen left, Sister Yang stared at the empty office in a daze, and suddenly looked at her only 2 capable people, Shen Jiao and Xu Na, in a panic. I say, you two, are you going to have a baby too? Shen Jiao and Xu Na waved their hands when they heard this. No, it's impossible. We don't even have a boyfriend, how can we have a child? But before Jiang Chen, we didn't hear much about him having a girlfriend, and now he suddenly has a child. Sister Yang added. Sister Yang, we are different. You know the 2 of us. Since we started working, we have always preferred people like Brother Chen. Now that Brother Chen has a wife and a child, it's almost like we've just broken up. How can we have any other feelings? Yes, Sister Yang, I feel like I've been dumped, and I no longer have any hope for love. Hey, I don't know what Brother Chen is thinking. She is so young, but she already has a baby. Okay, that's right. Hearing what Shen Jiao and Xu Na said, Sister Yang was relieved. The country hasn't issued any measures to encourage childbirth recently. The fact that our department is rushing to have children should be a coincidence. But it's a pity for Jiang Chen. He's handsome, capable, and at such a young age he's willing to let someone else have a baby for him. Oh, if I had known this, I would have taken action earlier. Sister Yang said this with a look of deep regret on her face. Shen Jiao and Xu Na were stunned when they heard this. What's going on? If you had known this earlier, you would have taken action earlier. This. Sister Yang, you hit it so well. At the same time, Jiang Chen, who was riding in the BMW X7, suddenly sneezed violently for no apparent reason. After the injection, my head felt a little sore. Who the hell is scolding me? After resigning, the next thing to consider is moving. Jiang Chen first drove the car to Su Qingqing's rental place. The things in Su Qingqing's room were quickly packed up and sorted for easy moving. After that, I went to the place where I rented, packed all my things, and called the moving company. I thought maybe there weren't enough people. Then he shouted again in the 303 WeChat group. I thought that everyone was busy, preparing for postgraduate entrance exams, working, so it would be good if one could come. Unexpectedly, my three sons, Liu Wei, Jing Qiang and Wu Hao, all came at once. Those who are preparing for the postgraduate entrance exam stopped reviewing and those who are working just asked for leave. As soon as they saw Jiang Chen, the sons came up and beat him up. Jiang Chen, are you still a human being? You actually let Goddess Su give birth to 3 children for you. You just broke up with the school beauty, and then Goddess Su came along. Fuck you. I didn't realize that you look quite honest, but you are actually a very bad boy. Besides, haven't you noticed yet? This guy is moving in with Goddess Su. Fuck. Is there any justice in this world? Beat him? Beat him to death. The few people became more and more angry as they talked, and then they beat him violently, extremely ferociously. Of course, after fighting for a long time, Jiang Chen was not hurt at all. We were classmates in the same dormitory back then, had a good relationship, and were used to joking around with each other. So there was a commotion for a while. Several people worked very hard to help Jiang Chen move. During the moving process, they soon discovered Jiang Chen's BMW X7 and naturally thought it was not his. During the 4 years in college, each family has a good understanding of each other's situation. Jiang Chen's family is just moderately well off, and they have an old Volkswagen that his mother has been driving for 10 years. Jiang Chen, is this BMW X7 rented? Of course, to save face for Goddess Su, I even rented out a BMW X7. This top-of-the-line BMW X7 costs nearly 2 million, so the rental fee is not low for a day. What do you know? You can't catch a wolf without sacrificing a child. Goddess Su gave birth to Jiang Chen's child, so she should pay this little money. Jiang Chen did not immediately make an excuse after hearing this. Should I tell them that I have cheats and that I not only have this BMW X7, but I also have a house in Bishuiju, and that I can easily earn tens of thousands of dollars a day now? This is nonsense no matter how you say it. Seeing that Jiang Chen did not refute, Liu Wei, Jing Qiang and the others took it as their consent. But they didn't take it seriously. Renting a BMW X7 for several $1,000s a day was a great deal compared to marrying a beauty like Goddess Su. Even a dog would know how to choose. But when they found out that their moving destination was Bishuiju, suddenly I couldn't remain calm anymore. Because Bishuiju is the top high-end residential area in Sihai City, the cheapest small apartment costs 5 or 6 million. If you rent a house here, you will have to spend at least 10,000 yuan a month. If I say that I don't rent a house, but have my own house in this Bishuiju community, would you believe it? Jiang Chen simply didn't hide it this time. Believe it? We don't believe you. Liu Wei, Jing Qiang and Wu Hao didn't believe it at all. Stop talking nonsense, okay? This Bishuiju community is the top-notch high-end community in Sihai City. Any apartment costs tens of millions. Even if you rent it, even if you earn 10,000 or 20,000 a month, you may not even be able to pay the rent. Jiang Chen, stop pretending. We are all classmates and know each other well. There is no need to act cool in front of your buddies. If you pretend to be innocent, you will be raped. If you pretend to be awesome, you will be struck by lightning. Several people tried to persuade Jiang Chen to stop pretending, and they were trying very hard to persuade him. Suddenly, with a click, Jiang Chen put his hand on the fingerprint lock, and the security door actually opened. Chapter 21. Tell the truth, ill-gotten gains. Waji. You really have a house in Bishuiju? No way. Liu Wei, Jing Qiang and Wu Hao were all staring in disbelief. After entering Jiang Chen's finely decorated house in Bishuiju, he opened his mouth wide in amazement. He saw that it had 4 bedrooms and 2 living rooms and was extremely spacious. The building is open from north to south, with sunny terraces and very high-end decoration. Crystal chandeliers, leather sofas, Persian carpets. Everyone was dumbfounded by what they saw. After realizing what was happening, he beat up Jiang Chen again. Because it is too obvious, a house of this level would cost at least tens of millions, and even renting it would be very expensive, which is simply not affordable for a college graduate. Fuck. Jiang Chen, you suddenly got rich. Get rich? I think it's because he hooked up with Goddess Su. But Goddess Su is just a university teacher. How much does she earn? Tell me the truth, where did the money come from? Was it ill-gotten gains? Don't tell us that you have an old grandfather who lives abroad and left you a large inheritance, and one of the inheritances is a house in Bishuiju. Jiang Chen, who was violently beaten, was speechless. Stop making a fuss, this money is really earned by me. What the hell? You really got rich? Several people's expressions changed instantly, and they immediately rubbed Jiang Chen's shoulders and back, trying to please him in various ways. Jiang Chen, how did you get rich? Brother Jiang, please share some of your experience. Dad, please share some of your experience. Dad, please share some of your experience. After 4 years of getting along, Jiang Chen knew these sons' tempers too well. They loved to play, make mischief, and joke around. They were as shameless as they could be, so he cooperated with them very well. Okay, sons. When Dad is in a better mood, I will teach you the secret of making a fortune in a few days. Cut. Get lost. I said you were fat and you were out of breath. Liu Wei and others laughed and cursed when they heard this. Everyone knew it was just a joke and no one took it seriously. After all, no matter how rich he was, he still belonged to Jiang Chen. Besides, buddies should be careful about talking about money, as it could hurt feelings. But jokes are just jokes. Jing Qiang and Wu Hao suddenly had some weird ideas. Brother Jiang, I don't want the secret to getting rich, can you teach me some tips on picking up girls? Yes, Brother Jiang, please teach me some tips on picking up girls. I've been single for more than 20 years, and I still don't even know what it feels like to have a girlfriend. This time Jiang Chen didn't even have time to speak. Liu Wei couldn't bear to watch it anymore. He glanced at the 2 men, one less than 1.7 meters tall and the other with a face full of acne, and said helplessly, forget it, both of you. I think it's better to let Brother Jiang teach you some secrets of getting rich. It's more practical. After Jiang Chen moved, it was already evening when he returned to the hospital. As usual, Song Mai prepared a sumptuous dinner for Su Qingchang, including Jiang Chen's portion of course. Su Qingchang had already finished eating and was lying on the bed to rest. The mother and daughter were eating at a table near the door. While eating, Song Mai asked Jiang Chen where he had moved to. My own home. Jiang Chen wrote lightly. Your own home. Song Mai said with disdain, your rental house, a place like a doghouse, can be called a home. After all, you live with Qingcheng, so you should change your house. I changed, Jiang Chen said. Well, it's better to change it, Song Mai nodded in approval. You have 2 adults and 3 children now, the house you live in can't be too small, and the conditions can't be too bad. By the way, the $30,000 has been spent. Without saying a word, he took out a card from his pocket and handed it to Jiang Chen. Chapter 22. TSK, who is your wife? Jiang Chen was a little flattered and waved his hands quickly. Mom, no, I have money now. Rich. You have a shitload of money. Where did you get it when you just graduated? Raising children is very expensive now, and you have 3 to support at once, and you just rented a house. Besides, Qingcheng is my best friend, you have to be nice to her, right? Take it. Jiang Chen. But Mom, I really have money and I won't lie to you. Last time I accepted 30,000 yuan from my mother, I showed my mother how loving and filial she was. This time, he couldn't accept it no matter what. Are you sure you have money? I'm sure you're sure. I didn't touch the 30,000 yuan you gave me before. All right then. Sangmai then took the bank card back, but she was still worried and gave another instruction. Son, I won't say it before. Qingcheng got pregnant with triplets for you, but she suffered a lot. From now on, you have to pay more attention to Qingcheng and the children, and be nice to them as much as possible to make up for it. Money is not a problem. If you are short of money, just ask Mom for it. Do you understand? I understand, Mom. Jiang Chen suddenly felt a warm feeling in his heart. What a good mother she is. The dearest person in the world is still mother. But Mom, don't worry, your son has grown up and will never ask you for money. He will even be filial to you. In fact, he also wanted to confess his situation to his mother, especially the matter of the house and the car. However, my mother is very impatient and she knew that she suddenly had a property worth tens of millions and a top-of-the-line BMW X7 worth nearly 2 million. The first reaction is definitely to think that you have done something improper. What about, the most profitable things are written in the criminal law, and one misstep will lead to eternal regret, and then when they catch me, I will get to the bottom of it. Apart from anything else, this meal will definitely not be eaten. Take your time. After all, she is my dearest mother who just touched me so much, so I should be nice to her. Qingcheng, these are sunshine rose grapes. They are sweet, crispy, thick and juicy. They are good for the health of pregnant women. After dinner, Sangmai washed a bunch of grapes for Su Qingcheng and put them on a plate for her to eat. Jiang Chen saw this and also wanted to have some fruit after dinner. Mom, I want to eat grapes, too. I bought this specially for Qingcheng. A small bunch is so expensive. If you want to eat it, buy it yourself. Jiang Chen was confused. Real mother. Well, the touching moment just now is gone. Sangmai packed up, gave a few instructions and went back. After Sangmai left, Su Qingcheng smiled at Jiang Chen, holding a plate of grapes and motioning him to come over. Come, let's eat together. I can't finish it anyway. Hey, sometimes I doubt if she is my biological mother. Jiang Chen walked over, feeling a little helpless. Don't worry, she is definitely your biological mother. Su Qingcheng chuckled, based on what your mother said to you just now, I feel that no one in this world loves you more than your mother. Jiang Chen glanced at Su Qingcheng and said, did you hear what I said to my mother at that time? Yes, I heard it. Besides being worried that you have no money, she also asked you to be nicer to me. Yes, she asked me to be nice to you and the child. So, what do you think? What do you think? That's right, your mother asked you to be nicer to me and the children. Do I need to think about this? Jiang Chen asked back, deliberately joking, of course I love my wife and children well. When Su Qingcheng heard this, her pretty face turned red. TSK, who is your wife? Chapter 23, let them handle the little issue. After this, Su Qingcheng was also a little tired. After returning to the ward, she yawned continuously and was too sleepy to open her eyes. He rubbed his eyes, explained a few things to Jiang Chen, and then lay down on the bed and fell asleep. Jiang Chen remained the same as before. While playing with his mobile phone, he was watching the child. His physique is now strengthened and he only needs to sleep 3 or 4 hours a day, so it is still early for him. Watch some funny music and play some games. Check on the 3 babies every once in a while. It wasn't until the second half of the night that I finally felt sleepy. Bite. The host has taken good care of his wife and 3 babies until they are about to be discharged from the hospital. He has done his best and taken great care of them. Congratulations on winning a cash reward of 100,000 yuan. Bite. The host has triggered a special reward, congratulations on receiving a set of finely decorated apartments by Swan Lake. The next morning, Jiang Chen was half asleep when he heard the system prompt in his mind. Yo-ho! He was actually awarded 100,000 yuan and a fully furnished house by the Swan Lake. The dog system was generous again. Okay. After helping Su Qingcheng solve the problem last night, the 3 little ones started making trouble again, so I changed their diapers, cleaned them, fed them, burped them, and coaxed them to sleep. After all the busy work, it was almost dawn. However, due to his strong physique, Jiang Chen just dozed off in the chair for a while and was no longer sleepy. I'm just going to be discharged from the hospital today. But there is a lot of work waiting. Not long after Jiang Chen woke up, his mother came. In addition to some fruits, they were given a sumptuous breakfast, including steamed dumplings, tea eggs, a treasure porridge, soy milk, fried dough sticks, and Jiang Chen's favorite leek and mutton box. Mom, I'm not hungry today, you guys eat. If it were in the past, Jiang Chen would definitely eat some if he saw his mother bringing so much food. But this morning, I'm really not hungry. You little brat, what's wrong with you today? I took the trouble to bring you breakfast, especially a leek and mutton box, and you don't want to eat it. Sangmai was a little surprised. A few days ago, this son of a bitch complained that she didn't bring him breakfast. I didn't eat this morning. The sun really is rising in the west. Mom, why would I lie to you? I'm really not hungry, Jiang Chen said, picking up a bun with reluctance and taking a bite with a perfunctory expression. Sangmai. If you don't want to eat it, then forget it. Ching Chang and I will eat it. Now that he has a wife and grandchildren, Sangmai no longer spoils Jiang Chen. Seeing that Jiang Chen doesn't eat, she puts the breakfast in front of Su Qingcheng. Qingcheng, come, let's eat. Yeah, Su Qingcheng nodded. Yes, Mom, you and Qingcheng can eat. She must be very hungry. Jiang Chen said. Su Qingcheng blushed and glared at Jiang Chen unhappily. You are the only one who can talk, right? Sangmai is not stupid either. Seeing this scene between the two of them, it was estimated that something must be going on between them, maybe some shameful deeds, but Su Qingcheng had just given birth to a child by caesarean section, so no matter how impatient the brat was, he couldn't be too excessive. But never mind. Let them handle the little things. What are you guessing about? On the other side, Su Qingcheng was indeed hungry. I ate almost twice as much as usual, and after finishing it, I stroked my stomach and felt a little regretful. So he said to Sangmai, Hey, Sister Mai, I'm going to get fat again if I eat so much. Sangmai heard this. He looked at Su Qingcheng with a smile. Don't worry, Qingcheng. With your physique, you won't get fat no matter how much you eat. Besides, you have 3 babies to feed now. Only if you eat a lot can you have enough milk. Only if you have enough milk can you keep the 3 babies from starving. Chapter 24, Great Strength Brings About Miracles. When Su Qingcheng heard this, her face turned red again. She originally wanted to emphasize that eating too much will make you fat. Unexpectedly, Sangmai brought up that topic again. Why? Sister Mai, you don't know something. With my current talent, it is no problem to feed 3 babies. Su Qingcheng sighed in her heart. As soon as we finished breakfast here, the 3 little guys over there started making a lot of noise, waving their arms and jumping their legs. It only took a few days. The wrinkled monkey-like appearance when the baby was born has completely changed. The skin is smooth, fair and tender. So cute. One look at it makes you want to get closer. Hey, you hungry? It's okay if you're hungry. Grandma will hold you and have dinner right away. As soon as Sangmai saw the 3 little guys, she smiled and her face relaxed, as if she was 10 years younger. She said with a smile on her face, helped Jiang Chen change the diapers of the 3 little ones, and then carried them to Su Qingcheng. Su Qingcheng didn't care, she took the babies and fed them one by one. Sangmai and Jiang Chen were both nearby. Sangmai acted out of inertia and subconsciously wanted to chase Jiang Chen away. I thought to myself, my best friend is breastfeeding her child, what's so good about a grown man like you? Soon he realized that his son was not an outsider, but the father of Su Qingcheng's child. If there is no problem with today's examination, you can be discharged from the hospital. You guys should also pack up in advance. Shortly after feeding the baby, Jiang Chen's cousin Sun Qian came in with instruments and several nurses to give Su Qingcheng a comprehensive examination before discharge. How is it, Xiao Qian? Sangmai, as Su Qingcheng's good friend and future mother-in-law, asked hurriedly. Sun Qian checked Su Qingcheng's wound recovery and various examination values, and nodded, the recovery is not bad, you can be discharged from the hospital today. Okay, that's great. Sangmai said happily. Su Qingcheng also felt relieved. Although the conditions in the hospital were okay, Sangmai and Jiang Chen, mother and son, took good care of her and the children, and she did not suffer any grievances. But it is a hospital after all. Living here is still very inconvenient. Of course, she would be more than happy if she could be discharged from the hospital as soon as possible. After being discharged from the hospital, pay attention to the healing of the wound, avoid strenuous exercise, avoid contact with water, and pay attention to hygiene. The recovery period after a cesarean section is 42 days. You should go to the hospital in time for a follow-up check to see how your cesarean section is recovering. Also, during the recovery period, you should exercise restraint and try to avoid sexual intercourse. Of course, 42 days is an approximate date. Everyone's situation is different, so it depends on how you feel. If you feel pain, you can't do it for more than 42 days. If you don't feel pain, you can give it a try before 42 days. Of course, things like using great strength to create miracles are strictly prohibited. Sun Qian explained everything in detail about what to pay attention to after being discharged from the hospital. Hearing the suggestion about sex, Su Qingcheng blushed. Of course, I have learned something, although it is some strange knowledge. It turns out that it takes 42 days. Don't worry. Who is in a hurry? Jiang Chen almost moved to Bengbu after hearing this. I think this cousin. She must have done it on purpose. As someone who has experienced this, Sun Mai heard what Sun Chen said, glanced at her son and best friend, and smiled, not taking it seriously. They are both a couple. It is normal for a mother to have thoughts and needs in that regard after giving birth to 3 children. After Sun Chen gave the instructions, she chatted with Su Qingcheng for a while. Sun Mai and Jiang Chen were busy with a lot of things related to discharge from the hospital, packing their belongings and going through the discharge procedures. Suddenly Sun Mai's cell phone rang. Received a phone call. After the call, Sun Mai looked solemn, and her expression looked a little strange when she looked at Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen couldn't help but ask, "Mom, who hit me?" "Your dad called me. He said he wanted to come see you." "What, my dad wants to come see me? Didn't he just have an appendectomy? He'll need for drips for the next few days, right?" He was receiving in for drip, but he said that he felt something was wrong, so he pulled out the needle and hurried over to the maternal and child health hospital. What should I do then? Jiang Chen suddenly panicked. Thinking of his father's violent temper, his scalp went numb. "It's not my son. Don't worry. There's one thing I haven't told you yet." "Mom, what is it?" "Your father is here now. He should have arrived at the hospital. I just sent him the ward number." Chapter 25, Watching the Fun. Jiang Chen heard what his mother said. I was speechless for a moment. "You first told me not to worry, then told me that my dad had already arrived at the hospital, and you sent him the ward number. Well, you two are teaming up to cheat your son." "No, son. You know your father's temper. He insisted on coming and asked me for the position. I couldn't just refuse him. Besides, I can't keep this from him forever." Sun Mai also felt that it was a bit too much, so she made an excuse. Jiang Chen scratched his head. Sun Qian and Su Qingcheng were talking over there. After a few days of contact, they gradually became familiar with each other. Hear the conversation between Jiang Chen and Sun Mai. Sun Qian couldn't help laughing immediately. Su Qingcheng almost laughed out loud. She is a person with a cold personality and usually doesn't laugh unless she can't help it. My best friend is so funny. She always tricks my son in different ways. But it's worth it. It's all because this big pig's hoof is so tasteless. Actually robbed. Boom boom boom. At this moment, there was a knock on the door. Dad is here. Jiang Chen was immediately startled. Go and have a look. What if your dad comes? You've already graduated from college. Can he eat you up or something? Sun Mai said calmly, at most, your dad will just beat you up. Jiang Chen. It's easy for you to say that. The one who got beaten was me, not you. No, beat up mom. Dad doesn't have the guts to do that. In front of mom, a real tigress, even if dad has a bad temper, he has to be as docile as a kitten. If you are dragon, you have to coil up. If you are tiger, you have to lie down. But my father was quite strict with me. I was very naughty when I was a kid. Because he was too playful and didn't want to go to school, he tore up his homework book, and his father grabbed his ear and personally took him to school. Because he was scolded by his father for not concentrating on doing his homework, he wanted to take revenge by pouring 3 bottles of Moutai that his father had collected for several years into the sewer. After the matter was exposed, he naturally received a warm greeting from his father. All 2 or 3 brooms in the house were broken. At the same time, of course, my mother is indispensable. Men's singles, women's singles, mixed doubles. Why? As the saying goes, a loving mother holds a sword to chop her wandering son, and a father, seeing that his son is still alive, pulls out 7 wolves. Bite. The system reminds the host that the task of confessing to your father within 3 days is about to expire. Please seize the opportunity to confess, especially now, as the opportunity will never come again. Special reminder, the reward for this mission is linked to the completion of the mission. To be specific, it is linked to the degree to which the host is beaten by his father. What? Is the reward linked to the extent of being beaten by dad? This. Could it be that the lighter the beating, the greater the reward? Jiang Chen asked. Bite. No. The harder the host is beaten, the greater the reward. Jiang Chen. Damn, the dog system is just watching the fun and not minding the trouble. Jiang Chen's communication with the system seemed to take a long time, but in fact it was only a moment. He shook his head helplessly and came to the door. When I opened the door, it was indeed my dad. Ahem, Dad, why are you here? You didn't tell me in advance. You should have told me so I could pick you up. Jiang Chen greeted his father as soon as he saw him. Jiang Dupeng had a gloomy face. He glanced at Jiang Chen, said nothing, and went straight into the ward. When Jiang Chen saw his father remain silent, he suddenly felt panicked. Dad. Dad, listen to me. This was an accident. I was drunk and confused, and then I made some mistakes and did some stupid things. But don't worry, I will take responsibility to the end. Really, I will be a man like you. Jiang Chen was anxious to explain, no, to confess. Jiang Dupeng still said nothing. After entering, she glanced at the room and saw Su Qingcheng and Sun Qian. She nodded to them kindly and went straight to the crib, where Sangmai was, holding a little one in her arms and playing with him. Jiang Dupeng saw it and was surprised. There really are 3. What do you think? Sangmai said. Then, let me hug you. Jiang Dupeng couldn't help but feel a little excited and stretched out his arms to hug the child. Sangmai glanced at her husband and handed the baby in her arms to him. After Jiang Dupeng took it, he carefully held the baby in his arms, and couldn't let go of it like a precious egg. He was not satisfied with just holding one, so he hugged the other 2 little ones one by one. His eyes are full of grandfather's love for his grandson. This looks pretty good. Why do you say Jiang Chen will get beaten? Su Qingcheng whispered to Sun Qian. We're just getting started, Sun Qian continued to explain. Hey, you don't understand my uncle-in-law. This is just the calm before the storm. Let me give you an example. My good cousin was still in primary school. Because my uncle-in-law quarreled with him, he was angry and secretly poured all the Moutai that my uncle-in-law had collected for several years into the sewer. When he saw that the truth had been revealed, my cousin ran away. My uncle-in-law searched for him for a whole day before he caught him. Seeing that he was dirty and very hungry, he gave him a bath and cooked him a delicious meal. After he had eaten and drunk his fill, my uncle-in-law picked up a broom and chased my cousin around the house. I finally broke 2 or 3 brooms before I could put the matter behind me. Oh, this. Su Qingcheng couldn't help but worry for the big pig's trotter when she heard it. She thought that although the big pig's trotter was uncultured and actually snatched food, he was still the children's father after all. As expected. Jiang Dupeng held the child for a while and satisfied himself. Finally, he turned his gaze to Jiang Chen. Come with me. He said in a deep voice. His face became gloomy again. He stood up and walked towards the door. Jiang Chen. Well, it's finally here. Uncle, Xiao Chen didn't do anything wrong. Besides, he's already that old. Seeing this, Sun Qian hurriedly persuaded Jiang Dupeng. Sangmai followed up with some advice. Yes, Xiao Chen is right. Your son has already graduated from college, you should be fine. Well, uncle, Jiang Chen didn't mean it. In fact, he is an okay person, Su Qingcheng couldn't help but say. It's okay, I will be careful. Seeing the 3 women persuading him together, Jiang Dupeng responded very kindly, but while he said it was okay, he pulled out a belt from his pocket the next second. Everyone. Seeing that I couldn't persuade him, I had no choice but to give up. Over there, Jiang Chen followed Jiang Dopeng out. Jiang Dopeng saw that there was no one in the next ward, so he pulled Jiang Chen in. It was impossible for Jiang Chen to say that he was not nervous at all at this moment. There was nothing he could do. He was scared because he was beaten when he was a child. Seeing his father like this was like a mouse seeing a cat. But now that things have come to this, it doesn't matter. At worst, I'll just get beaten up. As I said before, at least I gave him 3 grandchildren. I don't believe that Jiang Dopeng would really kill me. After Jiang Dopeng went in. With a stern face, he looked at Jiang Chen carefully. Jiang Chen felt uneasy watching this. Just when Jiang Chen felt the atmosphere was getting tense and his father was finally about to take action, he saw his father suddenly pull out another card from his pocket and handed it to him. Here, take this. Jiang Chen was puzzled. Dad, why are you giving me this? What did you say? You little bastard, I can't stand you. There's 800,000 yuan in this card. It's your mother and I's life savings. Use it to buy a house. Chapter 26. Ouch. Dad, are you really going to hit me with a belt? I had already prepared myself for a beating, but my father not only didn't beat me up, he also gave me a bank card with 800,000 yuan in it and asked me to buy a house with it. My dad has changed his gender. Jiang Chen was stunned for a moment. Dad, what do you mean? Hey. Little brat, what else can daddy do? I just want you to buy a house. Jiang Dopeng's expression softened and changed into a serious look. When I first heard from your aunt, you harmed your mother's best friend and asked her to give birth to triplets for you. My first reaction was of course disbelief. Your mother's best friend is of a different generation than you, so you should call her aunt. Besides, the probability of having triplets is so low, 1 in hundreds of thousands or even lower. How could you be the only one to get it? After that, I felt something was wrong. Your aunt couldn't have made up a rumor about you for no reason. I called your mother again, several times in a row. At first your mother denied it, but later she admitted it after being annoyed by my questions and told me the location. Jiang Chen scratched his head. So you were getting in 4 and you pulled out the needle and ran over here. Of course. It's such a big deal here. I'd be surprised if I could just sit still. Jiang Dopeng continued, but little brat, it's not terrible for people to make mistakes. The important thing is to be a man. You have to have the courage to admit your mistakes and take responsibility. That's what a man should do. Do you understand? You are not a child anymore. Since this has happened, you should be nice to the mother and child and take responsibility. This 800,000 yuan was originally saved for you to buy a house and get married in the future. Take it now and buy a house for the mother and her child to stay. It also gives the girl peace of mind, letting her know that our family is serious. The next step is to get the marriage certificate and hold the wedding, so as to give the girl a name as soon as possible, and to avoid being pointed at by others when she goes out with the child. Jiang Dopeng said as he stuffed the bank card into Jiang Chen's hand again. Dad, no thanks. I have money. I have both money and a house. Jiang Chen quickly refused. You have no money or house. Jiang Dopeng scolded his son when he saw that he refused to take it. You just graduated, and I don't know you. I told you to take it, so you took it. Why are you still arguing with me? Without further ado, he stuffed the bank card into Jiang Chen's hand. Jiang Chen. Forget it, I'll find a chance to return it. Jiang Dopeng cursed, and when he saw that his son didn't push the bank card to him again, he smiled with satisfaction. Tell me the truth, are you worried that I will beat you up this time? What do you say? I'm scared by your beating. Jiang Chen glanced at the belt in Jiang Dopeng's hand and felt a little uneasy. Jiang Dopeng patted his head and laughed embarrassedly. But tell me yourself, were you a naughty kid? Did you deserve to be beaten? We were still in elementary school. I quarreled with you because of doing homework, and you were so angry that you took out your anger on the Moutai I had collected for several years. There were 3 bottles of Feiqian Moutai in total. I am so greedy just thinking about them now, but you poured them all down the drain. He didn't want to go to school in junior high school, and he hung out with people from society, stayed out all night, and dyed his hair yellow. I was so angry that I arrested him and brought him back overnight. In high school, not to mention the premature love, the girl broke up with you, but you actually tried to commit suicide and even eloped with her, wandering around the world. I was working on a project for the company at the time, and when I heard your mom say that about you, I was furious. After your mom and I beat you up, remember I threatened you that if you act stubborn again, I'll beat you with a belt. But think about it, I and your mother beat you pretty hard on those occasions, but in reality, after you cried out in pain, you were fine soon, right? Jiang Dopeng recounted a lot of past events in one breath. Jiang Chen initially felt uncomfortable when he heard his father recounting his past embarrassments. To be honest, this naughty kid was really naughty, so naughty that he wished he could travel back in time and give himself a beating. But it was the first time I heard what my father said afterwards. Listen to what Dad means. He also has a mother. Over the years, he has been scaring himself more than really fighting? If you think about it carefully, it seems to be true. There was much thunder but little rain. Almost every time I committed a crime and was beaten, everything would be fine soon. I would eat and drink as usual, and go to school as usual the next day. Dad, are you saying that you've actually felt sorry for me all these years and couldn't bear to hit me? Isn't that nonsense? You are my only son. What if I hurt you? Jiang Dopeng said as a matter of course. To be honest, there were 2 times when your mother and I were terrified. One time was when you were in junior high school and you skipped school to hang out with some young people. You dye your hair yellow, smoke, drink, and fight. Your mother and I are really worried that you will learn bad habits. Another time, we were in high school and had a prematic love affair. After we broke up, he suddenly wanted to jump off a building to commit suicide. That time, my heart was in my throat. Your mother and I didn't sleep for several days. We were so nervous and secretly observed your situation. I'm afraid you'll do something stupid out of impulse. But fortunately, you got through it smoothly, were admitted to university, and graduated successfully. Your mother and I finally breathed a sigh of relief. Although I made a small mistake again this time, but, Jiang Dopeng wiped his eyes casually, suddenly punched Jiang Chen on the shoulder, and laughed happily. You gave me 3 grandchildren in a short time. To be honest, they are better than I was back then. Har ha har ha. Good. Jiang Chen said modestly. But his father's words really moved him. Poor parents in the world. I used to think that my dad was a rough guy with a bad temper who liked to beat people up, but in fact he was very considerate and worried about me all the time. And at the same time, the impression I have of him is that of a tall, upright, rude man who was once omnipotent and good at convincing people with reason. It's a bit old now. His back is a little hunched, his hair is a little grey, and there are more wrinkles on his face. Gradually, he begins to show signs of being an old man. Time makes people grow old. Dad, thank you for all these years. Jiang Chen choked up. You little brat, why are you thanking me? I am your father, and I owe you my whole life. Jiang Dopeng said with a gentle expression, smiling, I hope you will have a good life in the future, and you haven't forgotten me and your mother. We are all satisfied. Jiang Chen was so moved that he burst into tears. I never thought that my dad and mom were so thoughtful to me. Why? I really want to throw myself into my father's arms and cry like I did when I was a child. However, just as Jiang Chen was deeply moved and grateful for the kindness of his parents in raising him, he suddenly saw the belt that Jiang Dopeng had been holding move. That's right, there is action. Looks like you want to slap yourself. Jiang Chen was shocked when he saw this. Dad, what are you doing? Beat me with a belt. Yeah, Jiang Dopeng nodded and said with a smile, didn't I warn you at the beginning? If you do something wrong again, I will beat you with a belt. You don't want me to break my promise, do you? No way, Dad. Are you serious? Don't worry, it's okay. I won't really beat you with a belt, I'm just pretending, for the sake of my family throne. So that your mother can understand the majesty of your father as a man of kingly aura, and who else is qualified to be the one in charge of the family. Jiang Chen hesitated. Well, then, please be gentle, Dad. Rest assured. Bang. Ouch. Dad, are you really going to hit me with a belt? Are you okay, son? Of course I'm fine. It's this chair, look at it yourself, it's almost torn apart by you. Bite. Their host completed the task of confessing to his father, and was whipped by his father with a belt. Task evaluation, outstanding. Congratulations to their host for winning the reward. Chapter 27 The Majesty of a Man's Domineering Aura. Congratulations on winning 1 million cash prize and a chance to win a lucky draw. 1 million in cash. Awesome. Finally, it is no longer a small amount of tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands. Draw a lottery. Jiang Chen said with his mind. Ding, the lucky draw is successful. Congratulations to their host for obtaining god-level cooking skills. Xiao Chen is in trouble now. Given my uncle's violent temper, I must give him a good beating. Alas. Sister Mai, Jiang Chen didn't do anything wrong. It was just an accident. Do you want to persuade your uncle to stop being angry and let Jiang Chen go? After Jiang Chen was taken away by Jiang Dopeng, Sun Qian and Su Qingcheng became very worried. Sun Qian felt guilty. If her mother hadn't tipped off Jiang Dopeng wouldn't have come in such a hurry. After all, she was a relative and knew Jiang Dopeng's temper. Anyway, Jiang Chen was going to get a beating this time. Su Qingcheng's identity is a bit embarrassing. But after all, I am older than Jiang Chen. The cause of the incident was indeed an accident, and after getting to know him over the past few days, he felt that Big Pig's hoof was an okay person, so he couldn't help but say something for Jiang Chen. Although she calls Song my sister and Jiang Dopeng uncle. It's really awkward. Song Mai was also a little worried at first, but after listening for a long time, she didn't hear any noise from inside, and there was no sign of beating. After all, they had been married for many years, so she immediately understood Jiang Dopeng's intention. So he said with relief, "It's okay." Jiang Dopeng said he knows his limits, so he knows his limits. Aunt, are you saying that uncle-in-law won't beat Xiao Chen? Sun Qian said. Su Qingcheng also looked at Song Mai when she heard that. No. Song Mai waved her hands with a firm tone. Don't you see how old Xiao Chen is now? He has graduated from college and is now a father, giving him 3 grandchildren. If Jiang Dopeng beats Xiao Chen like he did when he was a child, that would be ridiculous. Besides, Xiao Chen is not small either. If they fight, it's hard to say who will win. Are this? That's right. Sun Qian and Su Qingcheng looked embarrassed. It was not certain who would beat whom. What a shame for a son to beat his father. But anyway. The two of them agreed more with Song Mai's words that Jiang Dopeng would not beat Jiang Chen. But unexpectedly, the next second, bang! There was a sound of a belt whipping from inside, followed by Jiang Chen's scream. Sun Qian and Su Qingcheng. Song Mai was stunned for a moment, then she became angry. This old guy, he really hit me. He was about to rush into the room angrily. I didn't have time to push the door. With a creak, the door opened from the inside, and Jiang Dopeng walked out with a belt in his hand and a dignified look on his face, followed by Jiang Chen, who had obviously been taught a lesson. Song Mai was stunned at first when she saw it. Then he asked in surprise, Jiang Dopeng, did you really hit your son? Why, my son made a mistake. As his father, shouldn't I teach him a lesson? Besides, being able to admit one's mistakes and correct them is what a real man of our Jiang family should be. Jiang Dopeng said confidently. Song Mai. He turned to Jiang Chen and asked, Son, did your dad just hit you? Jiang Chen glanced at Jiang Dopeng and nodded. Song Mai was surprised. Son, does it hurt? How can it not hurt? I beat him with a belt this time to teach him a good lesson. Jiang Dopeng, who is 1.8 meters tall and strong, put one hand on his waist and looked down at Song Mai. Song Mai cursed, you old thing. You actually beat your son with a belt. Your son is already this old, and he may have made mistakes, but after all, he is going to give you 3 grandchildren. How could you have the heart to do that to him? And you beat him so harshly, using a belt. Jiang Dopeng, I think you are capable. So what if I hit him? It's only natural for me to teach him a lesson. You're just a woman, why are you meddling in other people's affairs? Jiang Dopeng showed no sign of weakness. Wife. Har. Song Mai was so angry that she stood on tiptoe and grabbed Jiang Dopeng's ear. Jiang Dopeng was prepared. With a dodge, he successfully avoided the attack. Song Mai attacked again and Jiang Dopeng dodged again. Jiang Dopeng was just about to feel proud, but unexpectedly Song Mai attacked again. This time, Jiang Dopeng failed to escape. Crunch. Jiang Dopeng was grabbed by the ear by Song Mai. Jiang Dopeng, who was originally a bit arrogant, immediately wilted, and cried out in pain and begged for mercy. Ouch. Wife. What are you doing? Can you be gentler? There was a sudden silence at the scene. They were all a little surprised. Even the 3 little babies who were originally a little noisy calmed down at this moment, and tried to look somewhere following the sound. Sun Qian was a little surprised for a moment. Before, I only heard that my uncle-in-law had a bad temper and liked to beat Jiang Chen. Once he gets angry, he is so furious that even God has to give in to him. But I didn't expect that in front of my aunt, the burly uncle-in-law is just a kitten and my aunt is the real tiger. And Su Qingchang. One look at Song Mai's smooth movements revealed that her best friend had done this many times before. I have to say, wow, my bestie who is only 1.6 meters tall has such strong fighting power. She looks like she is 2.8 meters tall. Jiang Chen held his forehead with his hand. Family throne? The majesty of a man's domineering aura. The boss of the family. Hey, Dad, why are you doing this? Not only was your domineering majesty shattered to pieces this time, but you were also stepped on and rubbed hard by Mom. Snort. You old bastard. You beat your son with a belt, and you think you're so powerful. My son has finally grown up, and you want to beat him? You beat him with a belt instead of choosing a proper method. Why are you so majestic? Huh. Song Mai said this while exerting force with her hands. Ouch. Ouch. Jiang Dopeng cried out in pain continuously, as if Song Mai was holding his lifeline, and he was completely exhausted. He immediately told the truth, honey, please let go. I didn't hit my son, really, I just scared him and convinced him with reason, I didn't beat my son with a belt. Song Mai turned around and asked Jiang Chen, son, did your father beat you? Oh, well, no, Jiang Chen scratched his head and said truthfully, my dad did convince me with reason and taught me a lot of principles, but he never beat me with a belt. Then what were those sounds of beating and screams of pain just now? Song Mai asked again. That was a chair that my dad used to beat me. As for the screams of pain, I was just cooperating with him. He said it was for his family throne. Jiang Chen then advised, Mom, just let go. That's right. We only have this one son. You feel sorry for him, and I feel sorry for him too. Jiang Dopeng echoed. Your father really didn't beat you. Song Mai still didn't believe it. Really not, he hit a chair with the belt. If you don't believe me, go inside and see. The chair was almost broken into pieces, Jiang Chen said. Song Mai went into the room and took a look. Sure enough, I found a chair that was about to fall apart. Then he let go of his hand and said, you're smart. I'm telling you, Jiang Dopeng, you really hurt my son, I'll make you pay for it. How can that be possible? Jiang Dopeng laughed and said, you beat up your son and asked me to pay for it. What a coincidence, I only have this one son, right? Song Mai glared at Jiang Dopeng unhappily. Then he turned to Sun Qian and said, Xiao Qian, remember to ask your uncle-in-law to pay for this chair. He deliberately damaged the hospital's property. You should make him pay for it anyway. Don't forget it. Well, okay, auntie. Sun Qian reacted. Jiang Dopeng was speechless. Damn it, she is a real tigress. He broke a chair and even asked me to pay for it. Now I have no money for cigarettes for next week. Alas, farewell. My family throne, the majesty of a man's domineering spirit.